Hello? 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 Hello, Heather. Greetings. What is the point of this stream? Okay. Well, first of all, for watching this, thank you for tuning in. Uh, on Sunday, I put out a Minecraft parody called "Time Out of Mine." It is a parody of "Time Out of Mine" by Steely Dan. If you did not know, I think some people didn't know, especially more on like the Instagram side. People didn't know what song it was. Rightfully so. I mean, like it's kind of a deep cut off of Gaucho. Maybe not a deep cut, but like it wasn't a hit. It wasn't a single. And the only reason that a regular person would know it is if they have listened to Gaucho, which that kind of person doesn't really exist. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Uh, Nicolades. Anyways. Um, so yeah, that Minecraft parody came out. A bunch of people saw it, which was great. Northernlion saw it, which is like low key the end goal of that because it was directly inspired by him. But also like, uh, I just have been meaning to do a Minecraft parody of that Steely Dan song for like a very very long time, and I think "Time Out of Mind" was the perfect one to start with, right? Especially when NL did that riff on Sunday, not Sunday. Sorry, on in November he did a riff on it in November, and I remember I was watching it live on stream. He was just sort of doing that, or I was either watching it live or was watching the VOD while I was at the gym. So that was awesome. And yeah, now it's got like 20K views, and now a bunch of people ended up subscribing to me, which is awesome. So thank you to all the new people. If you're one of the new people who came and subscribed after that video, shout out to you. You're a real one. And I appreciate you coming over. I'm very also thankful to Librarian for if you're if you're in the stream and the context you're just hanging out and you don't know the context of why I'm streaming. Library of Laterno is a channel that does Northernlion clips, and he did a clip of him reacting to the Minecraft parody, and that also like helped boost my numbers a little bit, which is awesome. Thank you, Wata, for doing that. And also thank you to him for sending me on the unmuted part of the VOD for that. I know the part that is muted is the other ones, the brain rot parodies that happen later in the video, but so I will turn that no clip probably, because none of the other channels clipped it, which is like I'm totally fine. It's very not like algorithmically friendly content at all, but I totally get it. But anyway, cool. Before we get started into just like breaking down the session, and talking about this logic thing, I'll change over to the screen now. Oh, take a look at that. This is the logic session. This is this is where the song exists. This is where it came to existence from. This is a lot software I'm using is Logic Pro. This is the DAW that Apple owns and maintains, and is what is used on Mac for music production. Some people use other things. I use Logic. I grew up using GarageBand, and I switched over when I was a teenager to Logic. So it's just all feels very logical, no pun intended there. Before we get into this though, a couple things I wanted to touch on. Some people might be watching this being somebody who used to tune into when I was streaming back in the fall of last year. Why did I stop streaming? I didn't think it was fun anymore. I thought it felt like this. I had that feeling of like this sucks, and I didn't want to be bound to that schedule anymore because I was doing like Monday, Tuesday, and a Friday schedule, and I just kind of thought like, I think maybe the last couple streams I was like, no one cares. Why am I doing this? This isn't fun anymore. So I just stopped. And you know, this is like fun, just coming back every now and again, and whenever there's a cool thing that happens, people coming in and saying, hey, you know, there's something interesting. So yeah, I stopped streaming regularly because it was just like, this is not for me, which is fine. I think my expectations were just placed wrong. My expectation was I would like to become a streamer, but then I didn't really want to be a streamer because that's not really what I do. I do music, and it felt like, because I understand that as a musician, you're, or as an entertainer specifically, basically everything you do is that you're a clown for other people, which is fine. And I'm totally fine with being a clown for other people when it's work, right? But when it's something that like is my thing or my creation and something that I'm entirely responsible, or something that it reflects me, it reflects me. It's a reflection of like my personality through my art, through my work that I do, and I'm not necessarily doing it for other people. It sucks when you have to kind of perform in that way. It sucks when it feels like a jester in your own palace. That's not what I wanted to be. I'm totally fine being a jester for other people's palaces. Like that's totally cool, and that's like the entirety of what I do is being a jester for other people in other people's palaces. But when it's something that I could really like care about and creating and fostering on my own, I hate that feeling of obligation of like, oh my gosh, like I have to be funny. I have to be like this thing for other people, you know. Yeah. But anyway, sorry, I got distracted. Be right back real quick, and then we'll jump into this. Sorry. Hello, Melvin. Nice to see you again. It's been a while, right? Yeah, I was literally just talking about like why I stopped streaming. Like regularly. So, but hey, today's a special occasion because we get to talk a little bit about my recent viral hit. Just kidding, it's not really viral, but it did kind of like do a lot better than the stuff that I'm normally doing. But anyway, so I'm not streaming regularly anymore. And I kind of just stopped. I didn't really announce anything. I didn't want it to be a whole thing. And I won't be streaming regularly again. I don't think I'll. It's not in me. I don't have it in me. Especially if I like just the idea of like trying to come up with something to entertain people. Like that's not what I want to do. I just want people to come here and just chill. Like I don't want to feel obligated. But anyway, yeah, Time Out of Mind. Time Out of Mind did really well. And this is what we're looking at here this is Time Out of Mind. This is the project itself. As you can see, it's not a very dense project. I mean, here, actually things are really out of order here. So let me rearrange everything to be a little bit more organized. Bass, all the guitars are going to be right there. Piano should be right there. I put these up there. These synths are gonna go here. Horns down here. Lead vocals, perfect. Oh yeah, pop should be up here towards the top. Okay. I don't need to play this whole thing, but let's sort of quickly go down the list of some of the cool things in this parody, or I guess recreation is what it is. We'll start with like the main thing, the vocals. A lot of people asked about the vocals because they're like, how do you get it so close? How do you get it so close to Donald Fagen? And part of that is just me, the way that I sound. I have a very nasal voice naturally. Here, let's listen to the isolated vocals.
Steve, you better be ready for grub. I cooked 40 steaks. Got leather pants here for Steve.
You can see there's a couple comps here. I usually do like 6 takes at most. I think on this one I just did 5 for whatever reason. But I usually do 6 takes for each part and then comp between them. That was the only part I ever comped. I think everything else I just like was pretty satisfied with like whatever the final take was. Oh yeah, this one that was take 4. Um, it sounded too good for it to have been AI. I appreciate that. It is not AI. And I'm thankful for the people, because you know what, in chat, and like no offense, like I didn't take any offense to it, because in NL's chat I wasn't there live, but looking back at it, watching it from the librarian cut, or I guess the VOD, I was just watching the VOD, or no, yeah, not the VOD, the librarian cut, because it has chat overlay. Some people were saying it's AI, which I get, because you know we are in that time right now where like you can't be too sure, or you can never be too careful. But at the same time, it does also bring up the other negative aspect of that, which is like, first and foremost, which is, and they do this with games, is like, if this looks like it sucks, or if this looks like I don't like it, it must be AI or whatever. Which is like, at least you have like a gut instinct, but it's tuned incorrectly, if that makes sense. But anyway, yeah, I'm very proud of my Fagin impression. Like I could literally just do it right now. Here's me singing it live, and it's my clip, because my mic is set like really hot. Steve, you better be ready for grub. That's like just how I sound when I sing. I cooked 40 steaks, got leather pants here for Steve. I'm not like warmed up or anything, but that's just like me kind of pulling that out, just to prove that like this is how I normally sound. Like I have this kind of like, I would call it nasally. I would call it like, here, my mic is a little too hot, I feel like. It's like, yeah, it's very like up here in the nose, very like honky sounding. And I don't mean that as to refer to white folks. I mean that as in like there's like a ha kind of sound. Like I sound like a duck almost, right? But anyway, so that's the
Steve, you better be ready for grub.
And so what am I doing on this? Well, so there's 2 lead vocal tracks, right?
Your eyes in the sky.
In the pre-chorus, it becomes a double, and they're just panned down in the center. They're not panned or anything.
I am holding.
And this is true, yeah. So pre-choruses and choruses have double tracked vocals on the main lead vocal, which is like Don's voice.
We slay and a dragon. When we slaughter, we'll place a chair aside.
And this one is sort of like just a different take. Yeah, on this one I use take 4. On this other one I use take 5. And I do that all the time for double tracking, where I just do like 5 or 6 takes, 6 or 7 takes maybe, and then I'll copy and paste onto another track, and then just cut from a different take bits and pieces that sound like in tune and really nice. And before everything else, after recording, the first thing that happens on both of these is this Melodyne. Melodyne, if you're not familiar, this is pitch correction software. Nord, how do you get all the notes to get? How do you get all the notes to get all instruments right? Do you just listen to the original a lot? That's part of it, yeah. But also like, it's just a matter of like listening. You know, I'm trained. Like I went to school. I went to music school, but before I went with a tutor or a jazz or a guitar teacher, I should say. And the high school that I went to, Girard Academic Music Program. This is public information. I'm not doxing myself. Girard Academic Music Program. I went to high school at a music magnet program. It was a high school, but it was a very small high school. It was a magnet school. It's public, so I didn't have to pay for it, but it was selective, right? You had to audition for it. So it was a private, not a private school, but it was a public magnet is the word, magnet school that was focused on music. It was a music centered high school, right? Performing arts school, if you're familiar with those. It was a performing arts high school, but a very small one. And so music has just always been like something I'm doing. That music is what I went to college for, what I do as like a day job. I do everything music. So one of the skills that you learn is just like listening to something and being able to what we call transcribe it, right? Listening to picking out the individual pitches like in a given instrument and listening back to it and sort of copying it, back. It is really something that I've just developed over time, and so that's the really the key to it is just like listening to it over and over and over again. Um, did I have to pitch the XP orb sounds, or were those unedited and just picked specifically? So yeah, I guess we can start with that as the instrumental thing. We already talked a little bit about the vocals. I can go more into the chain later, but since you just brought it up, here let's listen to the isolated XP sound. So this is the XP track right here. You can see this is the MIDI data. These are the notes themselves, right? Right. So that's the XP sound that is ripped directly from the game files. In Logic, you're able to, there's this instrument here called Q sampler, which means quick sampler, right? And you can just drag and drop in a sound. And, oops, sorry. You can just drag and drop in a sound. I just duplicated it just for demonstration purposes. You can drag and drop a sound, right? So in this case, it's called orb, right? The actual sample. Let me pull out the keys down here. And this is the original, right? This is what it sounded like originally. Wait, am I plugged in? I'm not plugged in. Give me 1 second. A cable. There you go. Now I should be hooked up. Let's hear it. Ah, yes. Beautiful. So this is the XP sound, and I guess that's the original sample of this. But it was not in tune with the rest of the song, right? It was, you know anything about tuning systems, it was not in 440 hertz. It's probably a little lower or a little higher, depending on how you want to look at it. But it's not locked to the 440 hertz grid, so to speak. So I had to pitch it up 50 cents, right? 50 cents, if you don't know, is like a quarter tone. 100 in when it comes to like pitches are measured in a unit called cents. Cent because like the distance between one note, like a C to a C sharp, those two different notes, be like those two notes. That's a C and that's a C sharp. The difference between those is 100, right? It's 100. That's why we call it cents. So I had to push it like 50 cents, sort of like a half step, a quarter step, if you will. I had to push it up so that it goes to E, which is a lot closer to 440. It's not exactly 440. The XP sound in the game is always gets a random pitch. I think yes, you are correct. The pitch is randomized, and it's sometimes in like a note, but sometimes not. It's dictated entirely within the game engine. I don't know the math on that at all, but yes, you're right. It is random. But anyway, like I pitched it up, so now that's a proper E4, and I've assigned this here, right? The root key is E4, so I can just play it like a. Right, I can just play the tune that way, or I can, right. And like any instrument. So now I can play it normally. So with that enables me, let me just delete that, to kind of record these as data. So this is a performance that I have recorded. So that's how it pitches it. Using the sampler, it can pitch it automatically, map it to a keyboard, and yeah. So to answer your question in a really long way, yes, I did have to pitch it, but using Q sampler, the quick sampler, right, to do that. I did the same thing with this note block sample. A lot of people didn't pick this up. There's also a Minecraft note block sample, and this note block sample that I use is the harp, which is the default sample. Right. That's the default sample of the note blocks. So that's also in there, and I do the very much the same thing. I load it in. This one I did not really have to pitch much. I guess I bumped it up 1 cent. I don't remember doing that though. Maybe it detected it by default. But anyway, so that's the cool little Minecraft stuff that's added. The other Minecraft related sound that is in here, which some people did pick up on live in the chat, I was rewatching it back again today, is the pickup sound. That's, yeah. And it comes back, it comes in at the end. Right? It starts in the right channel and moves to the left channel, like as the fade out happens. So if you're wearing headphones, it sort of will travel from one side to the other. Yeah. So that is all the little Minecraft details in that. Yeah. Going back quickly to the vocals. Both of these are being fed to this main thing. So these are like you would call it bussing, right? I'm bussing these vocals to this bus, right? Bus 1. So you can see these two have their output here set to bus 1. This little thing here says which output it's going into. Buses inside are just like outputs and inputs that live within the DAW, and they're not actually like in the real world, right? And so you can send things to one track and you can send things to other tracks, right? So these two are being sent to this main lead vocal track, and all the processing is done on both of these at the same time, right? This is like a Neve 1073 emulation, which is like a very famous console desk. It gives it like a warm characteristic, little added distortion, but a very pleasing distortion, not like clipping distortion or anything. This also adds a little bit of distortion, warmth, virtual tape machines, right? It gives a tape kind of sound. This is the main compressor that I'm using. This is Universal Audio's LA2A. LA2A is, of course, like a very famous and very well-known and well-loved compressor type, optical compressor, if you want to be specific about it. And it was just what they were using at the time. This is probably the compressor that was being used on the vocals on Gaucho, or at this time. It was very popular. Fresh Air. This plugin sort of adds a little bit of like shimmer, adds a little bit of brightness, adds a little bit of like extra airiness to the vocal, as we call it. This is very similar to how the guys in the studio at this time, especially in the LA scene, would use this thing called Dolby A, which adds like enhances, they call it. It enhances the top end, the very bright, like the throaty parts of the voice to give it this brightness, right? And this EQ, I don't know why that's there. There's nothing on it. All the EQ is being done actually in this channel strip here on the Neve emulation. There's a little bit of a bump here on the highs, a little bit above a bump on the mids, sucking out some lows, and no high pass filter. Gen Alpha got to music production. Exactly. We're bussing here. I'm about to bus these vocals to the lead vocal channel, and these are all being sent out to another bus. These are getting bussed. The bus is getting sent to another bus. Bus 4, which I have labeled reverb. And this reverb is the main reverb for everything. Everything that has reverb on it is getting sent to this bus. So if we look at all the tracks here, let's see. Yeah. The snare on the drums is being sent to this reverb bus. The guitars are being sent there, the piano, keys, vocals, almost everything. The only things that are not getting sent to the reverb bus are kicks, hi-hat, the bass drum, the hi-hats. Yeah, and the bass. The bass is not being sent to the reverb, and the bass usually never does. If you're a music producer, or you're getting interested in music production, remember that you don't send the bass drum to the reverb unless like you really know what you're doing and that's the sound that you're going for. But most of the time, you don't do that. Stu Boomy. Anyways, so that's the lead vocal. A lot of people talked about also the Michael McDonald impression. So some people said they wanted to hear it by themselves to be able to judge effectively. So here you go. I'll play them by themselves, and you be the judge.
Eyes in the sky, lectures in the city, and look pretty. Tonight we slay and a dragon, slaughter in place of Cherasime. Iron will turn to gold.
And this is the part that everybody is wants to hear.
Tonight we'll kill.
Oh no, sorry, this part.
Dying right here. Die, zombies die.
Yeah, that's the Michael McDonald stuff. How long did this whole project take? Depends on what you wanna, when you wanna call it, when it starts, and how long really. Sorry, that wasn't like proper English. Depends on like where you want to say like you really started it, and like how long of an interval that you'll count actually in between when it was started and when it was finished. This started in November, but it kind of got shelved after like I was burnt out, and I didn't want to do anything. So I shelved it until fairly recently. Pick Drake, came out, and I was like, oh, there's a market for this, and people actually like care. Like I let me dust this off, and so I picked it back up like early. When did I pick it back up? I picked it back up. Let's see, projects, alternatives, settings. I don't have any backups right. Anyway, I picked it up back up in the end of April. But all in all, if I had to estimate the amount of time I actually spent in the DAW and arranging everything, like 5 hours total of like work, 5 to 10 hours, 6 to 7. I don't know. Because one of the things that like sort of ate up some time was the horn transcription. These things. This was like a whole project in and of itself. Oh yeah, and not just these, but also the guitar transcriptions. Like I actually sat down and tabbed out the guitars, and also like engraved the horn chart. So let me pull that up just to show y'all how it looks, how much, like what I spent, what kind of things I did doing this to be able to do this. Hold on. If I can remember how to use OBS. Yeah. So I made this. This is a horn transcription with like where I sat down with like the 5.1 mix stem that had the horns in it, which was like the back channels of the 5.1 mix. So that it stripped away like some of the other instruments, so you could hear the horns a little bit clearer. Yeah. That gives you a little bit of an insight into like the kind of work that put into this. So maybe 5 to 10, maybe closer to 10, probably closer to 10 hours total. Now that I'm thinking about it. But to be honest with you, I wasn't really keeping track. I should have kept track. I really wish I had known that exactly how much time I spent. But this was probably the hardest part, actually. This horns and the guitars were the most time consuming part. Everything else is a little bit easier, like these pianos. Like it's not a difficult part or anything. Like yeah. Oh. I already forgot what that part is. Tanya Etheridge Jackson, hey Hey there, I'm a distant relative of Donald Fagen. I remember seeing him a few times in the 90s when I was growing up. My autistic son loves Minecraft and Steven he hasn't stopped playing your song. Thank you so much. This is exactly the goal of why I even did this was because I wanted to um bridge that gap of like, well, I love Steely Dan. I'm a huge Steely Dan fan. Steely Dan is literally my favorite band, but I also like want to bring this music to other people who may not be exposed to this at all because usually the audience for people who like Minecraft tends to not really be the same audience that really likes Steely Dan. That's obviously not like a hard and fast rule, but it's a heuristic that seems to ring true for the most part, right? And so I wanted to do this because not only for like the Northernlion cloud and all that, but also because like I love Minecraft, I grew up playing it, but also I love Steely Dan, and I love music that's informed by jazz tradition. I want to sort of bridge that gap, bridge that um, gap between young kids who may not never have heard of Steely Dan, or at least never given it the time of day to appreciate. Because I know, as for me being a Gen Z kid, like I when I first heard it, it immediately clicked. Maybe it's because I was already like learning jazz at the time, but still, like I something about it still sounded very timeless. Something about it still seemed very like this isn't like the other music from that time period. Because like there is a lot of music from the 70s to the 80s that are like, well, it's whatever. I mean, like I'm cool. It sounds cool, but it's not my thing. Whereas Steely Dan has always been like, wait, this is different, and this I need to listen to this a little bit more. I need to listen to this a little bit closely. It's almost like demanding me to give more attention. You know, so I'm very glad to hear that. I'm very glad. So your son loves uh the song and keeps the song going because that's what it's all about, right? Uh, Nicolaj, how long did the lyrics take? The chorus is some very clever writing. The water changed the cherry wine to slaughter. We'll place the cherry. And blew my mind a little bit. Oh, yes. So it, I think it was really quick. Actually, it kind of just came to me. If I remember correctly, the first draft of those lyrics was when was literally written the same day that Northernlion riffed on it. So it was probably in November, and he was trying to come up with a rhyme. He said something to the effect of like the water may change to cherry pine or whatever, like because like there's like a pine tree or whatever. But I was like, it doesn't make sense. So I kind of like went either while I was at the gym working out or later that same day. I went on like the Minecraft wiki and just kind of like looked through the item list and looked for a word that rhymed with like wine. Uh, because I really, really wanted to keep the rhyming scheme. And so I found sign. And of course, like I thought about it, like it didn't even take that long for me to remember to realize like signs are wood items that can be different wood types before it, like in the item name, like an acacia sign, an oak sign, and then cherry is like obviously like a relatively recent wood type that was added to the game. Cherry sign, it just kind of was like, oh, it's right there. I'll just get it, you know. And but cherry sign was very easy. That was there, all right. Uh, but I couldn't figure out what comes before it until like as I was writing it, sort of like filling in the blanks because I had the chorus. I didn't really know what the song was about until like I started to construct the verses. Then I kind of realized, oh, this song is pretty much about killing the Ender Dragon, right? Or it's sort of like the adventure. It's a recount of like the efforts that it would take to go and finish the game, right? Um, and so when that happened, I was like, what are some words for kill? What are some words for thing? And then I think what I might have done is go on Rhyme Zone and typed in the word water and sort of just looked for like the closest rhymes. And then the word slaughter kind of stuck out. And I was like, it's right there. So then I kind of like constructed in what situation would I with Slaughter and Cherry Sign being the same sentence, I was like, oh, I guess I remember when me and my friends, we were playing Minecraft on our server. We had a very sentimental kind of server. We left signs everywhere, and cherry sign. There you are. There's a shout out. We'll place a cherry sign. There you go. We would always like leave signs everywhere, and we'd timestamp them. So I thought, hey, that might be a cool thing to do. Well, when we slaughter, we'll place a cherry sign. So it kind of like it was a thing of like things sort of fell in place, not slowly. They kind of fell in like really relatively quickly. So that was really cool. Song couldn't have been written pre 2023. I saw a YouTube comment. I forget who it was, but they left a comment with the really obtuse, or not obtuse, astute is the word. Obtuse is an incredibly incorrect word to use there. Sorry, an astute observation, and that observation was that this song has so many like references to the game of items, mobs, and like just things that that did not exist when the game first came out. This is a very modern song, and I didn't really realize it at the time. When I was making it, that was just like not in the consideration. So it was a happy accident when the song comes out and everybody's like, wait a second, look, spears were not in the game last year. Goats were not in the game in like 2023 or whatever, whenever they got added. There's a lot of stuff in there that's like new gen Minecraft stuff. So that was just like a happy accident. I loved that. I'll definitely will do another one. Glamour Profession is like a personal favorite. I would love to do another one. We'll see. I'll see when the time is right. I love the add some style to my bass line a lot. Yes, that one kind of like also was one of those moments where it kind of just fell into place where I just kind of like was saying smile on my face. What's the other, like I was just kind of riffing on them, like style to my bass, add some style to my bass. So it's like one of those just like spitballing moments, like spitballing in the air, spitballing to myself, and it kind of happened, right? As long as an actual masterwork. Thank you, Wyatt. I appreciate that. Cherry Sign, you will go viral. Yes. The Diamond Spear, yeah. That one was also automatic. Like you just hear it, like sphere. It's like right there. It would have been better if I didn't use new Minecraft version items. Should have used an older version of Minecraft that matches the era of the music. Fagan wouldn't know what a cherry sign. That's true. I'm fake. I'm a new gen. I'm a Gen Z. So I wasn't there for when Minecraft first came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and the Sega Master System. I couldn't have known. Or the Channel F, I suppose. I don't know. Is that too deep of a pull? The Intellivision. They probably played it F at some. I don't know. Yeah, Fagan only knew back when it was a regular sign. They didn't have like special oak types yet. Do I think about the fact that this parody has the longest time span between the original song coming out and the parody? Is this true? Because like I wouldn't be surprised if somebody had already done like a Beatles parody. Like I would be very surprised if that wasn't something to think about. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Surely there's like a Beatles parody, and although maybe not, it's not that big of a time difference. I mean, like Beatles stopped putting stuff out in like 70. Billy Dan started putting stuff out in 72, or I guess Dallas made it come out. I don't know when. I think was Dallas 71 or 72. I don't know. Anyways, if y'all don't know Dallas, that was the first Steely Dan song. That's a trip to get into like early Dan. Like that's like Dallas is 72. Okay. So yeah, Dallas is just the same year as Can't Buy a Thrill. Okay, fair enough. but still, like 2 years of an interval between when the Beatles stopped doing stuff and when Steely Dan's first song came out. So it's not that much of a difference. I don't know. Somebody out there must have done like a come together. Although that's like 69, so I don't know. It evens out. Let's see. So yeah, that was, what was I just talking about on here? So I was just talking about the horns. That was the most time consuming thing. These were very easy because it's just a loop, and obviously they didn't loop it at the time, but I just kind of like copied and pasted stuff and all that, and then I played this part. This is not labeled. This is a Rhodes piano. But yeah, everything I performed on this piano, I just copied and pasted it down on the Rhodes. I could have like technically like just made like an instrument stack or whatever, but I'm not doing all that. Yeah. Some people might not know this, but on the original, when you dissect the tracks, the piano and Rhodes are playing the same exact part. They're doubled. Some people think that there's only a piano playing this part. There's not. There's a Rhodes that doubles it. Free draw. Can you send the MIDI? Yes, I'll send Donald Fagen. I'll send you this MIDI. Donald Fagen, shout out. This instrument I was a little unsure about because like when you listen to the 5.1 mix, there's an instrument that kind of sounds like this, but it also kind of sounds like a Wurlitzer piano. And I wasn't 100% sure what it was, so I just kind of like made a Prophet patch. Speaking of, for my Prophet emulation. This would have been a time accurate like polyphonic synthesizer. I made a patch that was like, this kind of sounds like a Wurlitzer, but it kind of has too long of a sustain to be a Wurlitzer, so I just made like a synth that kind of sounds like it. It's still like all barky, but you know. Do I have a playlist with all the resources I used? I don't have a playlist, but if you look up Time Out of Mind 5.1, there are re-uploads from people who have like isolated the front, center, the front, center, front channels, which are the center, left, and right, and then the other one people have isolated the back channels, which are just rear left, rear right, without the sub channel, because the sub channel is essentially just a low pass version of like whatever the bass is getting and whatever the kick drum, or it's like kick drum and bass are being sent to the sub, but there's like a low pass filter on it, so there's not really much information that you can get there. But if you look it up, you'll be able to just find like rear channels isolated and front channels isolated. For like the horns and these extraneous synths and stuff, when it comes to transcriptions, I used primarily the rear channels because that's where they live on the 5.1 mix, and the isolation of between like the background vocals and lead vocals is in the front channels. There's also YouTube does support 5.1 on videos, so if you can probably, if you want, download the actual 5.1 mix and then like using like, I don't know, YTPDL or like whatever YouTube downloader or that you use that can support downloading 5.1 audio, and then load the audio into Audacity and then do that. What does 5.1 mean? 5.1 is the particular format of surround sound that they are using. I've been transcribing Glamour Progression through them, use the 5.1 mixes. Yeah. It just separates everything really nicely. 5.1 is, five is the if I'm not mistaken, 5 refers to the amount of speakers that there are. 0.1 refers to like the point, and the 1 refers to how many sub channels there are. So 5.1 is essentially 5 speakers: front, left, center, rear left, and rear right. And then 1 is the subwoofer, I believe. I think that's what that means. I don't really have much experience with 5.1 myself. I don't make 5.1 mixes. I don't do surround. I don't have a surround system. But from what I understand, that's what 5.1 means. That's just the format. that's to differentiate it from other surround formats, right? Quadraphonic is another surround format, and actually, some of the earlier Steely Dan records have been released on quadraphonic, although there's no digitizations of those yet. Like Can't Buy a Thrill and Countdown to Ecstasy were released on and on quadraphonic, I believe. And the rips of those also exist online, but um, they're definitely not like CD quality. They're affected by the fact that they were on their medium, which was like the quadraphonic mixes were on like a tape, some kind of 8-track, I believe. I don't know. But yeah, and that was the Prophet Melody thing. This is the other one. You don't really notice this when you listen to this the track by itself, but there's like a brassy synth that comes in, and it's just like so good. Yes. Is 5.1 the best way to hear surround sound then? Like the most physical spacing? Or placements, yeah. I don't know if I would say it's the best, but that's because, like, first of all, I say this as because I have no experience with it. 5.1 is just the most ubiquitous in our time right now, and it has started to be the most ubiquitous since the advent of home media being released on 5.1. So like stuff like Blu-ray, like DVDs. I think some DVDs even supported surround sound 5.1 back in the day. It just happens to be the most supported. Most things are made for 5.1 as the sort of configuration. There are some out there that are made for 7.1. 7.1 also exists. There's 10.2. 10.2 also is a thing. But those are not nearly as ubiquitous as 5.1. 5.1 just seems to be the most well suited to the home. Because if you think of like a home theater setup, right? You've got like your TV in the center. You've got 3 speakers on the front, 2 in the back, and then your sub like next to the couch or whatever you're watching a movie on. I think anything more than that might be a little overkill for like a usual home space, like a small home space. But surround has never been like something I'm interested in, so I don't have a surround system or anything like that. I don't plan to have like a surround system. But it's cool. It's for some people. It's not for me. Sorry, I just wanted to grab it. It's been a while, so I forgot like the exactly. I wish I had the patience to transcribe like you. I care mostly for starting the harmony arrangements, but I guess the mix allows a lot more for the arrangement. Yeah, it's I think those go hand in hand. When you transcribe, you can analyze it on the fly at the same time. Like transcribing this song especially has really like clued me into a lot of like what the Steely Dan are. I mean, like one of the key things is like that chord right there, right hand voice fourths voicing B-E-A, C sharp in the bass. So this is essentially like an A chord, this chord in first inversion, like A mu chord, first inversion, but voicing it in fourths, right? Like that's such a Steely Dan thing to do. This chord, Steely does use a lot of chordal harmony, absolutely, and that's part of like the sound that they use. Chordal voicings, yeah. Sorry, not chordal harmony, chordal voicings. Although chordal harmony does happen too as well. They use that chord. They use a lot of the mu chords, right, with the add 9, but voicing it below the 3. Instead of like an add 9 normally being like dropping that in there. Yeah, it works great with the guitar too. There's a particular guitar voicing that I'm addicted to, and it's kind of like the root on 6, minor 7 chord, but with the note on the B string up a half step. So you have like the full, like it's not like a bar. You could play barred, but then with like a finger above it on like B string. That particular voicing, which is like the second chord in Deacon Blues, after the that one there. Like it's such an addicting chord to play because it's like very easy, but also very open sounding, and you're like, oh yes, I love that. Right. A lot of Alan Holdsworth chord fixings too. Yeah, I got to get more into the Holdsworth stuff. Like that stuff really, for a while for me was very dense, and I was just like, I don't get it, you know. But I think I'm a lot more open to it now, for sure. After having like, you know, studied it a little bit more, studied jazz, studied like harmony more, because it is, you know, the tough thing about it is that a lot of it is like not functional. It's all voice led stuff, which is like, you know, I'm familiar with, but it's not natural to me. You know, I'm much more familiar with like traditional harmony and sort of like functional harmony, right? You know, 2-5-1s and stuff. Do I have Discord? I do. I'll you could probably look me up. It's literally just my name, Keenan Salazar. Right? Anyway. So that's cool. That's the key stuff. And we talked a little bit also about these, right? In terms of processing, like they all just have the typical like compression EQ. These don't even have EQ on it; they just have compression, right? Talk a little bit about the guitar. This is the part that was like the most exciting. So let me show y'all the guitar transcription that I had done for all of these. Right. So this is the guitar part, right? Soloed. And for the tones, like I use archetype Corey Wong for both of these. This is what the patch is for the rhythm guitar, just like this amp right here, which I believe is like, actually I forgot what this is modeled after, but like some kind of Fender. Those are the settings. That's it. And then this thing with the what do you call it? The Mark Knopfler part. This one's using the sort of the Dumble clone here. Mutual survey, yeah, awesome, cool. I'll check that later. Corey, yeah, so this is the Dumble clone. It's not the exact tone that they would have used, but it's a tone that I'm familiar. This is an amp model that I'm very familiar with, like dialing in. So I was like, I'll just use this instead. Like I'm not going to be too exact about it, and I'm not really super exact about it anyway. Let me see. Let me pull up the guitar transcription because this one also I spent a good amount of time sort of just working these out. And I did it in Guitar Pro, which is, if you're a guitar player, you know this app. You know, you can't hear it because it's not routed to OBS, but this is the this is the guitar part that I have transcribed. This is the rhythm part. These are the Mark Knopfler licks and all that. So I really spent a good amount of time actually like working on these. What's on the pop channel? The pop channel, I was talking about this earlier, but I can do it again. This is the Minecraft pickup sound. Pop is what the actual file is named in Minecraft files. Pop.og. But this is the this is like sort of doubling the claps here. Adding a little bit of you know, it's a Minecraft touch, but it also kind of like, you know, gives a little bit more, you know, a nice little thing to support 2 and 4, right? And then I have this going where it's panning from right to left over the course of the fade out. It's also the dropper sound. Oh, I did not know that. You thought it was the only part of the studio transcription? Not in the way that you're implying there, where it's like, yeah, like a layering thing. They do have claps here that come in though. That's like the one thing that is there. So it's just doubling that part. But they're in the recording, the claps come in literally at the end of the final chorus. And claps come in. On the record, that does happen there. Right? You'll also, real quick, you'll notice that like these licks were punched in. I was just like, I did not have time to like learn it, like to commit it to memory, you know. High lead synth fill to on the high end and on the Deacon Blues horn break. Uh, yeah, that's the If I'm not mistaken, is that the Lyricon part or is that like a separate like synth part? I'm trying to remember it right now. Um, yeah. Oh yes. So that synth, yes, that's Tom Scott on the Lyricon. Yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. The Sorry. I'm like nerding out like, yes, dude. Yes, I love Steely Dan. Yes, dude. I freaking love Steely Dan. Uh you transcribed that part to MIDI recently? That's awesome. I low key just want to get an Iwi to be able to like do like the Tom Scott Lyricon stuff and like get all the expression and articulation into like a MIDI really nicely with all the CCs and stuff. The instrumental in My Rival, I'm thinking that I want to do My Rival as a Minecraft parody. Also, the instrumental is in My Rival is so good because like the drums, which are Wendell, it's so low key. Also, like it's really like nasty sounding. It's a nasty like the you're talking about in My Rival with the horns like it's not the notes, but like it's yeah towards the end, like near the guitar solo. It's so good. I think that's Rob Mounsey who did the horns for that one, or it might have been Tom Scott also. Because I know they did. I know Tom Scott's on like 2 or 3 of the tunes from that for the horn arrangement, and then Rob Mounsey is like everything else. Um, was I the singer? Did I? Yes. Here. Let me show you real quick, since I think some people are like sort of coming in. This is me.
Steve, you better be ready for grub. I cooked 40 steaks.
That's me. That's me saying that. Steve, you better be ready for grub. Right? That's my voice. And I was saying earlier, like I have a sort of very like nasally voice that enables me, I feel like, to sing Steely Dan really well. I think what tends to happen when it comes to like Steely Dan covers is that you have like a guy who's like really a singer, who's really like a solid singer and super great diaphragm support, and their tone is just fantastic. But they're not like it's not the Fagan sound, But I think my voice like really, because of the quality of it being nasal, and I used to be really insecure about it. Obviously, with this kind of voice, you're like, it's not really a singer, but yeah, I found that like Steely Dan just kind of like fits in with that. I think that's part of why I love Steely Dan so much, is that like I see myself a lot in that band. I see the trajectory of my musicality and my career in Steely Dan. I see my voice. I hear my voice in Steely Dan. I hear things that I find relatable. So, thank you for saying my voice is beautiful. The kid who does Steely Dan covers, but it's just his voice. The Snowbound one is really good. I gotta check that out. It's like an a cappella one. I might have seen it before because that sounds kind of familiar. The Snowbound, let's stay in today. Yeah, I got that one's a good one. That's on my Christmas yacht rock playlist. I'll pull that one out every time the season rolls around, right? And Luigi64, you had the song stuck in your head all day. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Sent me that one on Discord too. I'll check that out later for sure. I've been on Discord a lot more. I've been like posting in Misc like a lot, not a lot, but like just participating. I don't know. It seems cool. People like my stuff. When people seem to value what I say, so that's cool. That's all I could ever ask for in this freaking world. My favorite solo Fagan song would be "On the Dunes" lyrically. That's is that off Chemical? No, or is that like Morph the Cat? Or no, is that like Sunken Condos? I don't even know. I'm very fuzzy on like 90s solo Fagan and onward, because I've only listened to Chemical like a handful of times. Not really much else. I've heard a little bit of Sunken Condos. And it's on Kamakiriad. It was written in the Nightfly era, though. I would have to. You know what? Now that you say that, I just like would need to play it, and then you probably like come back to me because I did listen to Kamakiriad. I just am forgetting a lot. Um, like Snowbound and like the first song, the one, the Trans Island Skyway or whatever it's called. Like those are the ones that are like immediately fresh in my brain. Um, Snowbound was I know that Snowbound was like an earlier one for sure too, because it definitely has like a little bit of that mid '80s Fagin touch to it, like sort of that big noise New York kind of thing. Um, Wearing my Steely Dan shirt today, just while walking around town, going, "Tonight we slay Ender Dragon." Tonight we slay Ender Dragon. Artwiga, yes, I do f with ABBA. Although like I'm a fake ABBA fan because I do really like Mamma Mia. I have an old rock cover of Mamma Mia sitting somewhere on my hard drive that I think is only on like a SoundCloud somewhere. But like I only know that one and like Dancing Queen and you know, but I have a respect for them, but I'm not like an ABBA head, if that makes sense. Like you get out of my soon go. And right music, everything is fine. You're in the moon, don't dance. Anybody can be that guy. I like that one a lot for sure. That's like, you know, fake fan, you know. That's like really basic, but that's yeah. I can appreciate that. I've been really meaning to start working on a guitar arrangement for a True Companion. Oof, we do it. So go and do a Cyborg by Frank Zappa and Time Out of Mind right now. Those are some good ones. Zappa especially. I don't know that particular Zappa tune. I'm a little unfamiliar. I'm really unfamiliar with a lot of the Zappa output because I've only ever listened to like Joe's Garage. But from what I've heard, and like Black Page, but I have a huge respect for Zappa for sure. Do I have any other Minecraft parodies planned, or is this a one-off for the time being? Oh, Cyborg is halfway through Joe's Garage. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm trying to remember. Like, it's very well. Yeah, when it comes to like records, there's a lot that I've like listened to like years ago because my buddy he's like a huge who is it on that record? Is it Vinny on that record who plays drums? He's like a huge Vinny guy. Vinny Colaiuta. And he was like, "Yeah, you can listen to Joe's Garage." I'm like, "Yeah, I will." Do you have any other Minecraft parodies planners? This is a one-off time. I mean, I don't know. I might do another one. We'll see. I probably will end up doing another one, but like, it's not like super. It's not gonna come out soon. Like I don't have any like scaffolding for it just yet in the way that because like for Time Out of Mind, like I already had like sort of a scaffolding. If I were to start a new one, like I don't even know what I would do next. I might do Glamour Profession or My Rival, one of those. I might even do Gaucho, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. It will happen at some point for sure, and you will know when it happens. Because like I don't know. That's just kind of how I am. I don't really like to push myself like too much to be like, I gotta work and do the same. Do like be under pressure with like a schedule. But it will happen. I'll tell you that much. It's gonna happen. It is going to happen. I can't promise when, but it will happen. It will. Yes, Vinny. Oh yeah, this one here. This little part here too. The DI guitar with phaser on it is so good on the original. I don't know if I really captured it, but I do love the way that this sounds so far. I just use a stock Logic like phaser pedal. You prefer Chad Wackerman era of Zappa drawing, but you like Vinny Colaiuta's burst fills and odd time swings though. Yeah, I again, I'm like not super hip to like a lot of the catalog, but like, I only was like I'm only like a Vinny guy because of like what he's done with other folks. I know that Chad though has been with that band for like a really long time, and like is like known as like one of the guys, the Zappa guys, you know. So I have respect for both of them as well. But like Vinny to me, I like Vinny because like he's sort of like a Porcaro adjacent. You know, obviously like I'm Steely Dan pilled, and I'm Steely Dan posting. Like I'm very much like a yacht rock guy. Like that's the yacht rock LA session scene is very much like that's my bread and butter, you know. And I'm a huge Porcaro simp, right? And speaking of Porcaro, uh, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if he's playing drums on this one, but we'll talk about the drums. Except Flagellita, you said you want to hear the horns only over the bridge. Let's listen to the horns. And I was saying earlier, like these horns I spent like a good amount of time transcribing, but this middle part, this climax is like so peak. Listen, and it's like right, it's synth horns. Right, that's so good, and you know they're like MIDI horns, so that's not the best, but I think I did like a pretty decent job, at least like getting close enough to be acceptable, where they don't sound like crap. Synth horns are fine, yeah. I think they're mixed okay. They're not like the best ever, but you know. Oh, they sound insanely loud because I have low latency mode off. Don't the end look pretty? Tonight we slay and the drag. But anyways, yeah, these are the horns. Processing on them is minimal. There's a bus compressor on there and an EQ to bump the Barry like frequencies, like yeah. Or I guess you can hear it really nicely on this one. On that boom bump thing. Flagellita, how do I figure out which horns are used and hear which lines and parts they play? This is like, okay, this is a great question. This is like me using a little bit of like my music school intuition because I can't. There's just no way to be able to tell which horns are playing what. It's because like I don't have the stems or anything. I only have like a 5.1 mix, which you can then like stem split and then hear the horns by themselves. And even then, like you can't hear individual horns. You can only hear the stack. So the one thing what I did was I started with what's the top note and what's the bottom note. Bottom note is often like a Barry thing, except if I can hear that it's clearly not a Barry. Like there's moments where there is a low note, but I know that there's no Barry playing. Like there's there's a clear like Barry line that happens there. So I start with the outside and I start with the Barry. You know, how do I decide like what's playing what? In big band horn writing, the top line is usually played by trumpet one. I know that there is only one trumpet on this song, and it's played by Randy Brecker, I believe. I know that there's only one trumpet on this particular track because the liner notes say that there's only one trumpet on this track, and I doubted that they would be double tracking. Did I take arranging at Berklee? I took I took the classes. Yeah, arranging is a required class at Berklee. But my major was called creative writing and production, and one of the requirements to complete the major was a class called arranging for big band. The other one was like arranging for strings, but I was like, I'm jazz pilled, so like, of course I want to write for big band. I don't care about strings. Like, what do I look like? You know, and you know, if I was gonna write for strings, I would just take the concepts that I learned writing for horns anyway, and point them over. But so arranging is required. Arranging 2 was not required. but I took arranging 2 because it was required for my major and not for like performance majors. So there was a particular class arranging for big band, exactly. And in that class, I learned that trumpet 1 often is like it doubles alto sax 1. If not like completely, it often does, right? So if you're writing for mixed brass and woodwinds, they naturally have a lot of interplay. And on this track, I know that there's only one brass instrument and everything else is woodwinds. So I made like an educated guess that like trumpet 1 and alto sax 1 were playing identical lines, because you can hear when they do the independent like thing here in the choruses. On this line here. On the record, it sounds like there were 2 instruments playing it, and one of them sounded like a sax, but I know that there's a trumpet, so I made the guess that they're probably playing the same exact thing. So after that, after like guessing, okay, Barry is that part, the lowest notes that are super, super low, especially like here in the choruses, like those are obviously going to be Barry lines. That's too low for a tenor sax. Everything else kind of got filled in as I was just like transcribing it on the piano, as if it was like a piano part. And so once I had the voicings, I just kind of exploded them out onto the rest of the parts. When in the cases where there were only like 4 notes, when like I have like 5 instruments here, Barry not included, but when there's like 5 notes, I would then just have either alto sax doubling alto sax 2 doubling alto sax 1, or tenor sax doubling alto sax, whatever was like appropriate, you know. So that's kind of my approach there. And I luckily the song doesn't have any too many independent like stuff, like especially in the bridge, they're all unison. So I don't have to worry too much. And whenever it was not unison, it was pretty obvious like what was happening. Like Barry usually has its own thing. So I don't know if that answers the question, but that's sort of like, it's a combination of the intuition that I had, but also like just guessing. A lot of it is guessing. Alex, I know it's not about the song, but are we going to put the Teenage Dirtbag on cover on Bandcamp? Probably not. And I'll tell you why. DistroKid, my provider for that, is handling the cover license for me. If I handled the cover license by myself, I would be able to put it on Bandcamp. So covers kind of are streaming exclusive, unfortunately. Yeah. I don't know if this question has been answered. But how did I go about learning and playing the guitar parts? They sounded great. I mentioned this before earlier, but there's a couple of mixes out there on YouTube that are like extracted from the 5.1 surround sound mix, and guitar is in the back. There's also guitars in the front, but there's an isolated, there's guitars without drums and bass that live in the back channels, and you can hear them pretty clearly. Mark Knopfler's on the right channel for the rest of the song that isn't the intro, right? So this is the only part of the song where Mark Knopfler is right down center. Every other time he's like hard right. He's panned hard right. And Hugh McCracken's part is left, like hard left panned. So you can like isolate them using a tool. Like if you really want to you can use like MSED from like Voxengo to like isolate like the side, or like to make things mono, or you can use Logic to just like turn things to mono and like only be able to hear left channel in both ears, if that makes sense. I should flip my camera every time I point right. I don't know. We'll see. I ain't doing all that. From your POV. I don't even know what I'm pointing at. I'm just like in the air, like just talking with my hands. I might if I have to point at something, actually. So yeah, so that's how I learned the parts, and then I transcribed them in Guitar Pro, which I still have this window up. So this is the transcription right here. So I sat down and I kind of just like read it almost. I literally, as I tracked this, because I didn't have time to really like commit like the exact notes to memory, I just kind of tracked it, like sight reading, kind of. I didn't play this exact because this is an exact transcription of the record, but this is not what I'm playing on the parody. What I'm playing is more just like this is like a what is that? 9, 10. This is like an F sharp minor voicing, F sharp minor 7 voicing, and this is an E minor 7 voicing. So I'm just kind of like, okay, there's this lick, and then it goes to F sharp, like an F sharp minor thing with like some like Jimi-ish licks, Jimi Hendrix like type like hammer on licks or whatever. And then when the chorus happens, like there's that part like right, which if you want to hear it, it goes like this. Yeah, boom, boom, ba, boom, boom, boom. Right, there's a little strum there. So yeah, I just transcribed it as it is. That is how I did it. I'll put the tab for it somewhere. I might put it up on Ultimate Guitar for free. We'll see. I probably will do that. So, but I'll share this around. I might leave like a link in the description once the stream is over. So yeah, that's what I did, and I played them, and then I recorded them. The licks, obviously, you can see him; they're all punched in because, like, I at the same time, I didn't have time to like really commit it to memory, so I just like kind of read. I read what I wrote, what I transcribed. Sorry. Okay, a lot of comments here. Sorry, I want to read them all. So sorry if you have to wait. Switch Stepper. I'm sorry if this is unrelated, but I recently watched your Studio tier list. Why do I hold so much contempt for Dirty Work? I'll tell you why. I didn't watch Sopranos, so I have no attachment to like this song, like at all. Basically, I have no like emotional attachment to it. I don't like David Palmer's performance on it. I don't like David Palmer as a singer. I think he sounds better on Brooklyn Owes the Charmer Under Me, literally a million times better than he does on Dirty Work. And I think that Dirty Work is just. I feel about Dirty Work the same way I feel about Africa by Toto as a Toto fan. To me, Dirty Work is so insanely unrepresentative of what Steely Dan is all about and what I like about them that I just don't see it as a Steely Dan song. It's like barely recognizable as like something that they have written. You know what I mean? The lyricism is like really not. It's like very like uncharacteristically transparent. Usually they're very obtuse and opaque, and on Dirty Work is very clear about what this is about, which is fine, but it's sort of like just Dirty Work is just like the anti Steely Dan song to me. It's the antithesis of what I like about Steely Dan. It's the complete opposite of like and all the things that I'm looking for, you know. And there's other stuff off of Can't Buy a Thrill that sort of scratches that itch. That's why I'm such a Kings merchant. I push for Kings a lot. Kings is my favorite song off of Can't Buy a Thrill because it to me it heralds the coming of like what Steely Dan would eventually become, and Dirty Work doesn't have any of that for me. And part of that is also like I'm just such a late Steely, like a later Steely Dan head. Like I really don't like a lot of its time. And by that I mean like it sounds a lot like what Chicago was doing. It sounds a lot like what America was doing. It sounds a lot like what all of the soft rock bands of the era were doing, soft rock / jazz rock guys. Then this is before like, you know, the studio starts to become like this instrument, right? It just Dirty Work doesn't represent any of what I like about Steely Dan, if that makes sense. It's a little too, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't have the sauce for me. It doesn't have the sauce for me. And Dirty Work is just the most like that. I'm a fan of America, the band. Absolutely. I like a Sister Golden Hair. I mean, come on. But I'm listening to Steely Dan is my point. I'm listening to Steely Dan. I'm not listening to America. I'm not listening to Chicago. If I wanted to hear that stuff, I'd go to those other bands. If I wanted to, you know, enjoy really dense harmony with nice grooves and really tightly performed musicianship, I come to Steely Dan for that. And Dirty Work doesn't have that for me. And I mean, Dirty Work is just very milquetoast, very plain. That being said, I have to reiterate this. Dirty Work is a really good song. Despite what I just said, I think Dirty Work is a really good song. But when adjusted for Steely Dan's, oeuvre and like the level of quality that I expect, it just falls short of what I expect because it's not Asia, it's not even Peg, it's not even Home at Last. It's not any of these things. It's very much like it's closer to a show tune than it is to a more modern track, right? And so that's why I feel the way I do about it. Is that it just doesn't have what I'm looking for. Doesn't have. It doesn't scratch the Steely Dan itch. I don't. So that's why like I seem to have a lot of contempt for it. But if I say this, here's the converse of it. Here's the antithesis in the Hegelian dialectics, right? If it was on at a party, you'd catch me singing all the words. If it was on in an environment in which I was not expecting to hear Steely Dan, I would be like freaking out. I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this is Steely Dan," because I show up for my boys. I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna be like hating on it if other stuff is not, in the question. Let me read this down. There was another one that I saw. Out of curiosity, when I was at Berkeley, or if I'm still in Boston, I'm not. I live in Philadelphia or in the Philadelphia area. Did I get a chance to go to the 2021 Orpheum concert? Is that no? No, I did not. I'm class of 20. I came in 2019 before COVID. I came back to campus like fall of 2020, maybe 2021 ish. Forget when, and I graduated 2022. But I did not go to that concert, unless that was the one that Erica Mole did. But I didn't go to that one either. Can I sneak you into Berkeley? Maybe. I don't have my pass anymore. I worked there for like a year as staff for like for a year after I graduated, but I don't have any more credentials there. Is the instrumental going to be available for karaoke? We'll see. I don't know. I might put that up as like a unlisted video in the thing. It's a good idea though. I should do that. Really love the cover. What line from the cover am I most proud of? When We Slaughter Will Place a Cherry Sign. That's the one that's like when NL did like this, the thing that he always does. That's how I know that was it. That was like the right thing. That was just like clean. And we were talking about that earlier. Like it just kind of came to me. Let's see here. I do also really like Midnight Cruiser. Midnight Cruiser is really good. And I really like that one. And it's like Midnight Cruiser does the things that Dirty Work kind of is going for, but better, in my opinion. Because there is still like a jazzy thing to it. You know what I mean? Hotter, I do also wish Hotter sang in more songs, but let's see. I dare you to collab with the YouTuber All Better Tilek. We'll see. I don't know who that is. I don't see how I put it below East St. Louis Toodaloo. It's because East St. Louis Toodaloo is a Duke Ellington song, and I really like Duke Ellington. And so that's why I put it really high. It's kind of a meme. Like if I were to actually legitimately rate it and not like with no jokes, it would probably be like a B or A tier. But it's still above Dirty Work because it's jazz. And I come to Steely Dan for the jazz. I don't come to Steely Dan for the rock. I could care less about the rock stuff that Steely Dan does. Like I just don't even. Yeah, like I don't. You'll notice that if you look back at the tier list, the songs that I put up there tend to be the ones that are the most like jazzy and theory, and have like an air that isn't just straight ahead like rock. Because I just don't like the straight ahead rock thing, That's not me. It's too dad rocky, I even know dialectics. Well, in the sense that like in the philosophical sense that they teach you in English class. I don't really know about like materialism and all that. Like that's above my pay grade. Thank you for the music. brought me some tasty joy today. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I love making music. I really don't like Do It Again. Midnight Cruise are great. Favorite Seabat tune is the Turn That Heartbeat Over. Turn That Heartbeat Over Again is really good. Now that I've reevaluated it, I know that I kind of ranked it low, and I'm gonna say this: I have a proper review of each album like coming. I'm going to like legitimate. So I started working on this. I was in New York the other day, for a gig, and I was like, I had time to kill, so I went to like a coffee shop to listen to Can't Buy a Thrill, and I have some things that I will revise. I have some opinions that I'm going to change because now that I've actually listened to Can't Buy a Thrill with fresh ears, I took notes as I was like writing it. I'm like, yeah, there's some things that I would have changed about my tier list for sure. So a full review of the actual, a full review is coming, like of all the albums. I'm going to do that. So yeah, if you don't like my opinion about a lot of the earlier stuff, prepare for it to change, because I will have at least give everything flowers. If I were to redo the tier list, Dirty Work would not be at D, probably. It'd probably be C. I still don't really like it, but whatever. Let's see here. Just because I'm also a Dan fan, I highly suggest you listen to Brian Barlow Big Band's cover of Do It Again and Peg. It's on their new album For the Poets. I'll have to check that out. I've heard of this band before, this big band. I might have seen them at some point, but I will check that out. You don't like Peg very much either? Peg is fine. I have a soft spot for it because it's like it's their hit that I think is deserving to be a hit. You know, Reeling the Years is like fine. Like I'll say you this much. I much prefer it when they do it, live. Or when they do the more dense chords, and then they do like when they go down to the like whatever arrangement is on Alive in America. That version is like really good because it's like super dense, and then they go in this one, and then they imply a little Lydian thing. You can't hear the piano? Oh my gosh. It's because I was still on that screen. Oops. Like they did the super like thing, and then like that the arrangement on 11 minute is just better. Sorry about that. Do I have any other Steely Dan parodies in mind? Yeah, they would all be Gaucho parodies for sure. I'm thinking about it because like I was doing the Brain Rot parodies for a while, and I still might do those, but I kind of don't want to do them anymore. I think I might just do like the Minecraft parodies again, like moving forward, because they feel a little bit more timeless. They feel a little bit less like they'll become dated within a year, which was like sort of the fault of the Brain Rot parodies. Like they definitely, that was when I did the Reeling in the Years one. I got like 6 million views on Instagram. That was like my first taste of like notoriety, or like people like seeing my stuff like on a national level or like an international level, I suppose. And then like revisiting that a year later, you're like, well, this doesn't really hold up anymore, which is unfortunate. I would wish that it was timeless, but the nature of the premise is very, ephemeral. But I don't know. We'll see. I probably will at some point do more, because I the success of this format has encouraged me to kind of try my hand at another one. Let's say that much. Like sort of how movie sequels work. The second one will probably be a lot worse than this one, just like a movie sequel. right? Uh, the brainwashed ones were really funny, but yeah, it just because they all become like a little too tiring. Like you can't really binge it as much, and like since they're like only a minute, like you can't really do a whole thing. It doesn't really feel like a proper thing. It feels like too much like a short form slop kind of thing, which is like it is, but that's not what I want it to be. But it is slop. Like let's be fair. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. Uh, any idea how they would have visualized the mixes back then? They wouldn't have computer or UI or draw like we do, or DAW like we do. They were going purely by ear. Yes. Here, there's a picture that I want to show you. That is exactly about this. Take a look at this. You probably know the image that I'm about to show you, though. You'll definitely have seen this before. Yes, I am the Instagram real brain rot Steely Dan guy. That is me. He NL reacted to it on stream before. Or you're talking about specifically Steely Dan? Well, I can't help you there. I was just going to show you a picture of like mixes in general on how to visualize them. But here, I don't know how Steely Dan would have visualized the mix or anything. But anyway, this is like if you take any class, this is like what you'll see. Here. This diagram right here. Let me see. Open image in new tab. There's a book. Yeah, it's Art of Mixing. This is like, then they even showed this to me in school, which is like, they showed one of Babylon's sisters actually. I think that's probably the best way to do it, to be honest, if you were like thinking about it outside of a DAW. But I don't know. I honestly don't know how like. So it was Elliot Shiner, who was an engineer. I think he also mixed some of it. Elliot Shiner, Bill Schnee, Roger Nichols. I don't really know their recording ethoses too well. Besides like really high quality, really clean sound is what they go for. But in general, I think especially at the time, the way you pan things was still very much like a reflection of how it was in real life. Often double track vocals were not going to be panned at all when they did it. Whenever there was a Steely Dan record, they didn't really pan double track vocals at all. They panned like background vocals and stuff, and horns were panned, but like just like in this lead vocal, right?
We slay and a dragon. When we slaughter, we'll
hard center, all of it. And all these stuff. I didn't actually copy any of the panning from the original. I just panned it like how I normally would pan it if this was my mix. Right. Just kind of like left, right, and then these here are like a couple of these are panned.
Night we slay and a dragon. Slaughter will place a
some of these are recorded with very speed.
We slay
or one of these. Like I sang this like slower and lower pitched, and then like pitched it back up, right, to get the female sound, because there's female vocals in the original. You thought they were going for clarity? Probably. I would say there was probably it was a transitional period. I think most of the basic stuff, especially like the drum stuff, was probably panned normally. Like you can't see the panning here because it's all in software. The panning that I'm using. Like Elliot Shiner, he's the guy who mixed Asia and Gaucho. Anyway, you can hear you can see that hi-hats are panned to the left and drummer's perspective. I think on this record they might not be drummer's perspective, but like I have a thing about that where like whenever I mix, I only like to mix in drummer's perspective when it comes to like the imaging of it. I will refuse to do anything else personally, but that's just me. That's literally just me. Anyway, like you hear like hi-hats in the left, which is like drummer's perspective on the left. Toms are always going to be panned, you know, at this time. If you want to be actually, yeah, they because they didn't do, I don't think they did like, no, that's not true. They did do basic tracks, but they wouldn't pan in the configuration. Like piano is always going to be like mid center, right? Right. But they're mic'd in stereo, so it kind of has to be like mic center. Same with the Rhodes, right? It's always going to be center, but stereo. So I guess it's technically hard left or hard right. I don't know. However you want to think about it, right? Does singing lower? Oh, thank you first of all, Spec had KO. Singing lower and pitching up, giving more from its own. Yeah. Here, I'll play it back how I would have recorded. I forget the exact thing that I. So this one is. I think this one I recorded -20. So let's hear -20 on the very speed. I have this very speed thing up in my bar. I use a custom display. You can hear that's more my actual voice.
Slaughter will place a cherry sign. Iron will turn to gold. Time out of mind.
And then pitching that up back to 0%.
Night we slay and the dragon. Slaughter will place a cherry sign.
I would not do an octave up because an octave up is too much of a formant change. The formant changes too much when it's like a octave. It becomes chipmunk. You do octave if you want to do chipmunk because chipmunks did octave stuff. I only do like maybe -20. And this is how I did female background vocals for all the brain rot parody stuff too. This one is like a -10, I think. This is like -10. No, I did not. That was not the very speed one. Which one is the very speed one? This one. This is the very speed one. So this one's like -10. So that's me singing like normally, but just like -10 and then pitching it back up to full speed. It doesn't really sound like female, but it gives it a little bit more of that higher formant, as we call it in like acoustics, right? I cooked 40 steaks. Yes. Him Koto. Yes. Just Michael McDonald at this point. Yeah. Thank you. But let's listen to McDonald's once again.
Dying right here.
Yeah.
Die, zombies die.
It's the light in my eyes. Right? You know? It's a nice textural compliment. Thanks for showing that. Yes, absolutely. That's like a bit of a thing that I had, a little secret that I've always wanted to like show off as like a, hey, if you want to do that, that's a cool thing that you can do. Let me see. Did anybody else ask anything that I didn't answer? But yeah, I definitely want to do more Minecraft parodies are to come. I can't tell you when. I don't have anything like recorded right now. But I definitely it's probably going to be something off Asia. I doubt it would be. I could do Reeling in the Years because I'll tell you what, I do have like I've recorded a full like parody of Brain Rot parody of that, which I'll show off right now. I recorded a full one off of that, and I just never got around to putting it out. Well, I was trying to put it on streaming, but the publisher wouldn't get back to me, so I guess I was like, whatever. Because technically, a parody is like, it's very transformative, and the parody and when it comes to like music law, there's a very specific way of handling that, like the way that Weird Al did it. You have to like literally ask for permission because it technically lyrically counts as like a new song. You know, it's technically my song, but not really. You know what I mean? Flood delete. I really want to go to Berkeley. Yes, if it's within, I would recommend it if you can afford it, or at least you can shoulder the cost which it would take to go. And if you know you can do it quickly, because I didn't do all 4 years. I only did 3 years of Berkeley. And I came into Berkeley with the intent of that being like a thing that, you know, I wanted to accomplish. I came in with a plan. I was like, I want to do it in 3 years. Obviously, COVID happened, so that kind of like delayed some things, but I still managed to do it within like 7 semesters, or 6 or 7. I forgot. It's not financially viable for me, sadly. If Here's what I will say: if you have not auditioned before, they often give full rides. You know, I have many classmates who got full rides, and many who were, but it's also like based on it's not only based on merit, it's also based on like income. So if it's you're kind of like low on income, they can give full rides. And you say you're from the UK, it's possible because they tend to. There's a scholarship called World Tour, and I received this scholarship, I think, because there were like fun. I was a little late on some of the materials I sent in, but I think they still wanted to give me scholarships, but they gave me like a little bit of whatever was left. So I didn't get a full ride. I got like half of my tuition was covered for the scholarship. But they have like different scholarship classes, and one of them is called World Tour, and they often give those to international folks. They often give those to people who want to go to Berkeley, but they're from abroad. And so that may be something to look into. That's not something that you would apply for directly. That's something that they would award you if you actually were accepted and given a scholarship. So the chances are not impossible. And if you do get a full ride, housing is covered. Although most of the people I know would prefer not to stay on campus. So there's stuff there at play, right? But you know, Berkeley Valencia is also really good, I hear too. You can do a lot over in Valencia as well. That's the Spain one, of course. One of your favorite musicians of all time, Gary Willis of Tribal Tech, teaches at Berkeley Valencia. Yes, they got some good staff over there too. So, you know, something to look into. They do give scholarships. Say that much. And if you have never applied before, work on your instrument, work on whatever it is that you want to do to get to a point where like you can pull up and be like, hey, swing it around and say, hey, you know, I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Screen's black. Sorry. Screen's black because I wanted to play this. This is done.
Your everlasting mutant streak, you see it fading fast. So you go to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria for a snack. Well, you wouldn't even know an imposter if you had him in your chat. The things you think are busting, well, I think they're cat. Are you reeling in the wrist? Skippy Sigma cat. Are you crooking it up for real? Do you have the phantom tax? Are you reeling in the wrist? guess you're an alpha since you were skibbity. And all the times I mocked you, industrial grade glycine. The baddie in the back room's got you W's in chat. The Riz that pass for aura, well, I think they're cat. Are you reeling in the real?
And so on and so forth. I do want to play this part though. I have to put this out. I haven't heard this in forever. Oh my gosh. That part like actually like, legitimately impressed me. I was like, what the heck? I forgot I did that. But I might just end up like repurposing this into like a Minecraft parody. Because yeah. This is just not I don't know. It's not relevant anymore. I missed my chance. Yes, I did reharm it. So part of it is based on the reharm that is done in Alive in America on the main part where they go like a hello, whatever. I have to change the mini channel. But anyways, it's like they change a chord. But this is like this has been sitting here for, like ever since like the first brain rot stuff came out, but obviously this is just not anything anymore, so I'd have to redo the vocals. But it's done is the thing. It's done. It's like done, you know. And this is that part, the in the solo, right? They have the G chord and the A chord and A, I mean G. And then normally it goes back to A, but this time you go to like an F minor 11 thing, right? And that's sort of like a little bit of what they do on the Alive in America version, where they kind of sub out the A or like an F sharp sometimes, F sharp minor. In the original, it's always this G to A thing, G to A, G to A. It's very like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But instead of, you know, I'm sure, I don't know who came up with it, one of their players, but you know, subbing the A for like a its relative minor is so genius, you know. So good. And there's like a drum thing that I programmed here that I'm like, I was so proud of, like this thing. Then that's like a 6-stroke roll just in MIDI. And this is also like another patch that I had made that is kind of like me trying to make the gaucho sound or whatever. But anyway, so I will definitely do another Minecraft parody. This will probably be its own thing. Like I have to like update some things. There's things in the tone that I would change now, like that. I think this lead tone is there's too much on it. The acoustic guitar is great though. We'll see. But yeah. To answer your question though, has Berklee helped with turning music into a career for you? I'll say this much. The short and long of it is yes, but it's not in the way that you think. Berklee helped me like do a career in music. Well, first and foremost, I don't really have a career in music right now. I'm kind of like trying to make it a thing. By like part of it is like the online content thing, but the other part is like I am a working musician. Like I play out in my area. Like I play gigs. I gig a lot, but I don't have like a thing that is like consistent. I do have like a like a job where I'm playing like every week at. That's part of it, but also, you know, it's really more that like Berkeley equipped me with the tools that I need to know where to go or how to do things. But I only got there uh after I only got to this point in realizing that I had all these things after I had already graduated and even left Boston. Cuz uh Berkeley doesn't really give you a job. They could if you really wanted to go that way. So there's a couple things. You could, if you want a job, and you just want a job mentioned. If you want a job out of Berkeley, you're going to be either you have to do film scoring, you have to do and music production and engineering. Film scoring, you could become a film scoring major. You have to move out to LA. You have to do a lot of networking. You have to work on a portfolio. You have to work with local filmmakers. You could turn that into a career. It's hard though. I didn't do it. People also through film scoring. There's a video game scoring minor. People I know in the are in the business. Like people who I went to school with, who I've connected with on LinkedIn. I see they're playing. They're doing stuff in video game studios, and they're doing stuff on video games that I've never even heard of. And a lot of them are also like AAA video games as like assistants, you know. There's a lot in the industry, but that's like, you know, if you want to do that, you can. And Berkeley can set you up for that. That's not what I wanted to do. And for a little bit, I felt like Berkeley didn't really set me up for that until I realized that, wait a second, everything that I've been doing had been leading up to what I wanted. And I didn't really know what I wanted, but what I wanted was to be like a creator of some kind, an independent creator. So in that way, Berkeley gave me a lot and almost everything that I needed to know to be able to do that. I didn't learn any of the marketing stuff though at Berkeley. They do have a music business program. I would recommend it if that's probably they would probably get a lot more insights doing that. But I just wanted to like make stuff and really make like hip stuff and really complicated stuff. And so much of like what I learned and what I'm doing, you know, with this stuff, like the Time Out of Mind, the parody, a lot of like I'm able to do this at the level that I am doing this at and at the you know, relative speed that I did this at because I was sort of given heuristics and lessons about harmony and I was in a world surrounded by people who were like me who wanted to like do hip stuff and create like music that was very not heady but like elevated, not just lyrically but like musically and theoretically, and in that way, you know, I think Berkeley helped a lot. Berkeley helped me by putting me also in an environment where like I was challenged, and so leaving it, I had my abilities to sort of recall songs and perform a lot of songs, and to know parts and to just have like a great memory. Helped me get gigs as right now I'm in a wedding band. I joined a wedding band pretty recently. And so it depends on what you want to consider like success or like a career or turning stuff into a career. If you consider like all the things that I'm doing right now a career, then yeah, I would say so. And I know part of me also considers that like a career because like I have several things that I'm involved in that, you know, all combined are like, well, I, you know, help me do music as my thing, and I don't have to do like another thing. You know what I mean? I don't have to have a quote unquote day job. I do technically have a day job, but it's not like not music. It's not like a quote unquote regular job. It's still music related, you know, in a way. So if that makes sense, hopefully that helps. I don't know if I was just like ranting and rambling and raving or whatever. But you know, it's tough. It really is tough, and it's still, and I'm still living through it right now. I'm still like trying to find different ways to make some money, different ways to like make this a thing, you know. But as far as I'm concerned, especially where I'm at, like this is the thing, and so I'm gonna just do whatever. I'm just gonna do whatever I feel like. When what I've learned is like, if this is the path that you want to go, if this like creation thing is like more your speed rather than like working in the industry, then it's like, you know. It's more fun to just like, hey, I'll just make this silly little Minecraft parody and then make a video, and then later after the fact be the reporter and say, hey, this thing exists. Let me tell the world about it. Like you have to do more of that kind of thing. I don't know. I'm ranting and raving here. BBJ, you caught alive. Yes, welcome in. We were just walking through the time out of mind session here. It's not AI, guys. It's not AI. This is really me singing. Are you reeling in the years? That's me singing. Nah, that's not even the song that. Well, I did just have that up. You'll probably see it in the VOD once it comes out. The reeling in the years thing that I was.
Night we slay and the dragon.
Yeah. One thing I did want to talk about though, real quick before anything else. If no one else has any questions, is how I mastered it. It's a really quick thing. You know, mastering is a little different than mixing. Mixing is like the individual, like, oh, this piano's gonna have a compressor on it, or the guitar amp tone or whatever. What's the level of it? The master is like everything else, everything at the end, like as it comes out. So here's what's on the mastering chain: bus compressor at the usual settings of like attack 10, ratio 4, release like as short as possible, and then setting the threshold so that what's peaking around like, I don't know, 2 dB of like gain reduction, maybe 3 at most. And then there's like a tape emulation to over everything to give like a nice level of saturation. I have ozone here. This is doing some stereo imaging, expanding like some ranges of stereo stuff, a little dynamic EQ, and whatever like this thing the assistant decides. Then I have a match EQ that matches the EQ curve of. I have an EQ curve of Gaucho loaded up. And then the blue is this EQ curve of the original of this track, and then I have it like sort of like boosting things, slightly. Is that so to bring it a little closer to how like the track Gaucho sounds? That's a little bit of a mastering hack that I recommend to everybody. There's like a master that you really like, you know, yoink its overall EQ curve, and then apply a little you know, match EQ to it. See what's nice. If you like certain things, you can take them out. You can modify them. Like, let's say you don't like that. This is like sucking out a lot of the bass stuff. Maybe you might roll this up to like, you know, make sure it doesn't do anything down there. Or maybe you don't like what it's doing on the high end, then you just do that or whatever. But I just kind of let that be the thing. I have a clipper on. This is where it starts to step out. Well, starting from like ozone to this clipper to the master or to the limiter. This is not what they would have done at all. Absolutely not. This is me being like trying to be competitive and like trying to make it sound a little bit more modern. I'm clipping it at 60 dB. It's like really loud, right? It's clipping it at like the peaks and like especially when the vocals get a little too dense. And then I have this limiter set to, and then I'm targeting like -6 ish. LUFS-ish, -8. So it's really loud. It is a very loud mix, but it's like competitive with like, you know, what's on streaming. So that's it. That's like the master. That's pretty much everything that that went into making this. Oh yeah, I barely even talked about the drums. I didn't talk about the drums at all. I mean, a little bit I did, but this is the part that I'm like most proud of. A lot of people commented the snare. These drums are literally this patch was modeled after this track. Right. So the kick, so first of all, foremost, this is the drum sample library that was made by one of the engineers that was on Gaucho, Elliot Shiner. And in this pack, he has a thing called the library. And inside the library are these kit pieces that are modeled after the drums that were on Asia. Right. So I just picked the kit pieces that sounded the most like that whatever was on the record. The snare I kind of tuned a little bit, and the kick I tuned a little bit, very slightly, so that they matched a little bit of the tuning that was on the record. These I kind of just left whatever, and those are the kick pieces. These are all being routed individually to like kick, snare, hi hat, rack tom, floor tom, and overhead. The kick, you know, this EQ here comes from like an EQ match. And I kind of just read the EQ match curve and sort of like moved things a little bit. I adjusted certain things that I liked better. So like I had isolated like just a kick from like this track, and then that it gave me that. Same thing with this Pro Q thing. It's a little bit, it's not as much on this one. It doesn't really need that much. And then yeah, the compressor that I'm using here is like a DBX 160 clone. Same thing here, same thing for the bass. Everything kind of sounds like a DBX 160. Like that was the compressor for the instruments. We talked a little bit earlier about the LA2A. That was a compressor for the vocals, keys, and everything. The compressor for the bass and the drums was the DBX 160 because of its like really punchy sound, So everything has like this light thing. Even the tom has like this huge scoop because like Gaucho tends to have this like scooped sound, Ragtime has this huge boost on this high shelf thing to get that brightness, and then overheads. Not much on there, but I love this sound. Can we get the Michael McDonald solo track at some point? Yes, I'll show that in a bit. I love how this came out. It just sounds so deliciously like period accurate. It's the best like retro drums I've ever gotten. And also, like, you might hear that it's like sort of like flamming a little bit. When I program these right on the grid, and Logic has this function called, if you go to functions, MIDI transform, not reverse position, humanize, it's called. It's whatever. It's the same. It looks the same thing. Humanize, it kind of like nudges things off the grid. Like you'll see this is like not on the grid. It's like a little bit early. This one's a little bit late. And it kind of also like changes the velocity so that this one, that's like 104, this is 101, like you can see down here. Everything's a little bit different. It adds a human touch to it. So, I'm not that great of a drummer. I'm really good at programming drums though. So, but yeah, I'm very proud of how the drums on this one came out. But yeah, well, I'll give you a little Michael McDonald. I'll give you a little Michael McDonald here for sure. Yeah.
Eyes in the sky.
Right.
Lectures in the city.
All those micro adjustments, yeah. I couldn't do that manually. I'm thankful that Logic has like a little algorithm inside that kind of like nudges things like randomly. So that's the first one.
Dying right here. Zombies die. Fences will place style to my base.
Yeah.
Tonight we slay and a dragon. Slaughter will place a cherry sign. Iron will turn to gold.
And here's the part that everybody wants to hear.
Dying right here. Die, zombies die. Fences will place style to my base.
And everything is the same. Everything else after that is the same. Can I solo the drums? Well, first, your mix is fantastic, man. Thank you. Solo the drums, yes. Here, I'll do it. I'll solo them in the chorus here. Oh no, here in the bridge. Like this is the fun part. In this little section. And here. And then when it goes back and then the choruses, it's like this little hi-hat bark with the four on the floor. Oof. Little ghost note there on that one. I think it's Porcaro who plays on this one, is it not? If it's not, whoever it is, they're killing it. Incredible work. How long did it take from start to finish? I estimated earlier. I said like maybe 6. I'm not trying to be glib, but like it's 6 to 8, 10 hours maybe. I was gonna say 6 or 7, but it's a little bit more than that for sure. And that's like also considering stuff that wasn't in the DAW, like the transcription time. I transcribed the horns on paper, not paper, but like in the charting software. And then I also did the same for the guitars, and bass. Like I actually the bass part is like very nothing. Like I mean it's cool, but it's like very in the very out of the way. I'll tell you that much. Background vocals sounded great. Thank you. I'm when I was doing the putting out parodies for a while, my like you might hear it if you're here from NL. You might have heard it in the Waterful Billy's thing that he reacted to. If you caught it live, because you can't see the VOD anymore, or if you saw the librarian cut. My Michael McDonald was not really good at that time. I kind of got a little bit better at it, and I'm a lot better at it now. The zombies die. Just getting the breathiness of it here. Da zombies die. You know, like there's a little bit more. I didn't really do it that good that time, but cinema. I ascended when I heard the XP sounds. Yes, the XP, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Tangle Winston. The slight out of tuneness of the XP sound, perfect. I was talking about it earlier. The original one is like very much not in key, but even like me bumping up 50 cents is like still a little out, but like it's out in a nice way, right? It's a little sharp, a little sharp, and it gives it this sense that it's like sort of sitting on top of the mix as opposed to like being, you know, blending in. So I'm glad you caught that. I'm glad you appreciate that. Chef's kiss. Thank you. Popping in to say this was thick. This was thick. Oof, I got something else on the mind. Stop popping in to say this was sick. Something deeply pleasing with it. Thank you. Thank you. Anarcho. Aryism. Or Kyriism. I was gonna say. One Man Army. Maybe. Earth Keenan, we love you. We love you, Earth Keenan. Yes. Dude, I love that part where he was like, forget AI. We have EK. I was like, yes. Yes. Everything I've been working for has been validated. And no one can ever like tell me I'm wrong ever again. Yes. Steve, you better be ready for grub. Yes, dude. You get it. You freaking get it, bro. Listen.
Steve, you better be ready for grub.
Was this the hardest mix I've worked on so far? Hardest in relation to what? This might have been the hardest mix I've worked on for like this genre of video, like the Steely Dan related stuff, for sure. It's not the hardest mix I've ever done like professionally. I'll tell you that much. I've had clients where their mix requirements and their actual like instrumental was so dense where I'm just like, this is a lot. I'm having a hard time making it not distort, you know. But when it comes to like this Steely Dan stuff, yeah, for sure, this is like the one that I think was the trickiest to like. Well, not trickiest. It wasn't tricky at all, but it was like the most work to really get it to sound good. Collectively, I've had this drums preset for a while. I spent a decent amount of time on this before I even started working on this parody because that sound was just something I've always really wanted to have just in a box. And so I do have this sound in a box now. I can just pull this out when I need to. Like this, I think I used this on. Yeah, let me see if I can find another. We're doing a little show and tell here, basically. There's another. Where is it? I guess it's on my hard drive. Is it? Oh, here. Logic. Can't freaking find this thing. Oh, here. Yeah. Like just having it in a Okay. It's because okay. Sorry. Sample rates, man. Sample rates always mess things up. This thing is freaking pissing me off. All right, we're back. Sorry. My mic actually did like cut out there for like a second. Hello? Hear it again? Now it's doubled? Okay. It's because I changed from 44.1 to 48. Anyway, I just wanted to show you this. I can't hear it. I literally can't hear it. But I just wanted to show you this other track that I used that Gaucho drum sample on, which is this Deltarune cover. Right. I'll put this out soon too, as well. I just haven't found. Yeah, it is Rude Buster, but like done like a Cassiopeia, Steely Dan type style. But anyway, let's go back to Time Out of Mind. All right. Sorry. Yeah. Sample rates, man. Anyways, that one we'll put out. Yeah, I was stuck in the air a lot. Yeah, the Rude Buster reminded me of Masayoshi Takanaka. Yes. I'm not modeling directly after Masayoshi Takanaka, but like stuff that's like within that space. Like that's definitely more of a Cassiopeia thing is what I was going for, as opposed to Masayoshi Takanaka. Although it's very similar because they're both like Japanese jazz fusion, so it's adjacent anyway. And like city pop and Japanese jazz fusion, basically, less so Japanese jazz fusion, but city pop owes a lot of its existence to Steely Dan. No one's gonna talk about that. But I will talk about that. No one knows that the city pop renaissance of like Maria Takeuchi, Tatsuo Yamashita, and especially Makoto Matsushita, even himself said Steely Dan is who we all copy. City pop would be nothing without Steely Dan. And that's my one like man yells at cloud thing that everybody's talking. Every guy like loves to talk about Steely Dan. I mean, every guy loves to talk about Japanese city pop, but Steely Dan, there was city pop is essentially Steely Dan thing Japan, right? You gotta put some respect on those guys, especially considering that Jeff Porcaro, who plays on Gaucho, on the song Gaucho, he played on a lot of Mario Takeuchi's records. Did you know that? You know? I should do a Did You Know Music channel. Did you know? That is my bespoke take. My one like guy. And then also you'll see in interviews, or not even interviews, on Makoto Matsushita's his album First Light. There's a song on there that he literally name drops Steely Dan, and if you hear interviews or like read the liner notes, he literally says the groove is inspired by Glamour Profession. Yeah, jazzy pop is Japanese Steely Dan. Yes, exactly. But anyways, it's been a pleasure to watch Time Out of Mind. Believe me, it has been a pleasure for me to watch him watch Time Out of Mind. Like imagine how I'm feeling. Like I feel insanely validated. I feel like, there's a little bit of like, oh no, I'm being perceived. There's a little bit of that, but also like, that's like, secondary completely to the like, yes, my goat is recognizing me. Yes, my goat said my name on stream. Yes, my goat. He really is my goat. Like he is able to articulate everything that I feel about art and music in such a way that's just like, yes, somebody gets it. Somebody on this freaking in this internet gets like that consumerism is killing art and art is like dead if we just keep like regurgitating the same thing over and over again. Art will continue to stay dead until like somebody pushes back and actually makes something that is a little different. And I say that with full like lucidity that like this in and of itself is what do you call it? It's derivative, sure. But in a way, I feel more like an art conservator rather than like an artist when I do this. Hopefully that's not that doesn't sound like pretentious, but it's more. That's just like that's where I am. He hits Bohemian Rhapsody, yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, like I like Bohemian Rhapsody, but I don't have necessarily the same vitriol he has toward it. I bet you that he feels the same way towards it as I do with Dirty Work. I'll tell you that much. Great song, unironically. My wife and I have been jamming to it since I saw it and I watch it in the brain rot stuff. Any more plans for more Minecraft parodies? I'm not really good. Lamau. Yeah, so I was saying this earlier. I was showing it a little bit earlier in the stream. I have a Reel in the Ears like parody, brain rot parody, that like full version that I never finished, but I made the instrumental for it. So I may repurpose that for another one. But if I were to make entirely new bespoke one, it would probably be something off of like Asia or Gaucho for sure. If I was gonna do Asia, I would make it a whole thing. Like I'd definitely like hire folks, and I have folks that I can hire. Like I could like make it a whole cover thing with a proper thing, a proper homage, and I can tap in some sax guys to like really do their thing over top of it, so that it's not like a direct like note for note thing, note for note as much as like the arrangement calls for it, but it'll be like a different take for sure. Moving forward, this one particularly was just like, I think this is not very this tune Time Out of Mind is not like is not conducive to something super improvisatory. I think its parts are just very like iconic that like if you change them something would sound weird. But for something like Asia, well, now that I'm thinking about it with the same like logic, I don't know if that really applies. Thoughts on the Beach Boys? I don't give them enough credit as much as I should. I need to get more into them. I've not really sat down and even really listened to Pet Sounds. However, I must say I do agree with the sentiment that Brian Wilson is a genius. I do think that he I can appreciate. I know that like I could probably get into him because he sort of strikes me in a similar way to like Donald Fagen, in that like they're both artists who take language from like other lesser recognized traditions and import them into like popular music, which I can appreciate, but I just have to like sit down with it a little bit more. Yeah, I might have a more nuanced and more in-depth appreciation in the future for sure. But as where I am right now, like I don't know enough to say, but my thoughts are, I get it. I get the love. I totally get the love. I just need more exposure to it for sure. Full Minecraft Asia album, Acacia. When all my block mining is through, I'm placing you. Right? Is that how that one's gonna go? I don't know. I don't really like what I riffed on there. Love the NJ County series too. I'm not planning to do all 21. Yes, I am. Don't fall for the Sufjan trap. It's too late. I've done 9 already. I put the I'll put the New Jersey one, the 9th New Jersey one out today. And that was fun. That was really fun to do. And I'm gonna do them all because like most of the people who liked my Jersey stuff are from the North. I'm not from the north of New Jersey. I'm not even from New Jersey. I'm from Philadelphia. I moved to South Jersey in 2021. So I'm like a South Jersey guy. I'm from South Jersey, basically. I'm not from South Jersey. I live in South Jersey. Whatever. From Philadelphia, I live in South Jersey. And so all the people who commented on like all my videos thus far are like North Jersey guys. But because I'm from South Jersey, I started in South Jersey. So all the North Jersey people are like, "Hey, when are you gonna come to Bergen County? You know, all the you know, where the Sopranos takes place or whatever." And I'm working my way up there. I just did Mercer County, which is like Trenton. That's where the capital state is. Central Jersey, if you believe that exists. I'm working my way up. Now, my next one is gonna be where Bruce Springsteen is from, Monmouth County. So I have obviously that one's. I'm gonna have a lot to say. I'm gonna work on that one probably sometime this week, and then film it like sometime this week as well. I'm glad you understand the Beach Boys a bit. I'd be interested in their Sunflower album, Mode. I'll check that out. Check that out for sure. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that doesn't that like it would that's sort of like yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like I have exposure. I just was not exposed that much to the Beach Boys, so I think I just need to give them a deep dive and give them a proper listen. Like, you know, I don't know. I wonder what Other Side would sound like in yacht rock style. That's Beach Boys tune, I assume. I'm sure a lot of those would transfer really nicely. I mean, yeah, songwriting wise, can't be that much different, you know. Especially like because of the time period. Time period was very they wrote songs very differently back then than they do now, I would say. And you know, it's not necessarily a value judgment I'm gonna make. I'm not gonna ever say that like, oh, so the songs back then were better, because we have some good songs now, but it's just like, you know, a little different for sure. The way that they just do songs, you know, just different. And that's like historically, you know, they're in the way that we write songs right now. It's very much like influenced by the whole like 90s alternative rock wave of the way that people write songs, and that sort of is what codified the verse chorus or bridge and then chorus thing, and even before that, like, or even on top of that, like adding the pre-chorus as like a thing, or the verse pre-chorus chorus bridge pre-chorus chorus, maybe, I don't know. Whereas like you look at Beach Boys songs, see some Steely Dan songs, if they're much more like like AABA or like AB, right? Or A prime. There's like a main thing. Like any major dude will tell you is like B, A and B. There's two sections. Never seen you looking so mad, my fucking one. Tell me that your super fine mind has come undone. Right? And that's the A section. Or no, not really. The A section is keeps going. It goes, anyone around the heart forgot my friend. Anybody where the breaks from pop falls together in your head. And the demon is at your door. In the morning it won't be there no more. Any major dude. That's so sad that you did not hear what I was playing on the piano. I think the B section starts out, when the demon is at your door, the morning won't be there no more. Yes, there is a different philosophy. people definitely do write songs differently now than they did like uh before, but there are still some people who do write. You know who is good at writing songs that sound like they're from the past? Chaperone. Chaperone can write songs that are very that have very, very like older song structures for sure. She's pretty good at that. You know. That's all I have to say about that, I suppose. Yeah, there's just things are just different. But that's okay. You know, things change. Life goes on, I suppose. Um, there's another one. There's this Donald Fagen solo one that is like very jazz tune. It's called Big Noise New York. Is the name of the tune. I don't know how to play it, but that one is structured like it has like sort of that verse refrain structure, which is a very old song form, right? You have a verse and then your refrain is like only like 2 lines that repeat throughout. And it's all big talk, big noise, New York. Like all the verses end with that as like the chorus. It's not even really a chorus because it's very short. Gaucho has like a really weird structure too. You know, all of the Steely Dan, and that's another thing that why going back to the Dirty Work discussion, I think Dirty Work is very boring in comparison to all the other like later Steely Dan stuff that has like a much more interesting like not just chord progressions but also like song structures. You know, Gaucho, you can't really decide what's the verse and what's the chorus because there's kind of like gaps in between certain sections. That like, is that part of the chorus or is that his own section? You know, there's a lot of that. So I don't know. I have some original stuff that also I want to put out pretty soon that is inspired heavily, of course, by Steely Dan. I'm gonna work on releasing that in a little bit. So, you know, if you'll stick around, you'll have some cool Steely Dan inspired music, you know, or at least the like original yacht rock kind of music. I forgot how to play Gaucho. Just when doesn't get miss, you are on and then you do this. You say this guy is so cool, snapping his fingers like a fool. One more. Who do you think I am? Lord, special friend, where are you? Whatever the rest of it is. But that's like that wherever that was the start of like it's technically still part of the verse, but like completely new progression and stuff. The only part of that song that's like the chorus is like the who is the gaucho amigo? Why is he standing there now spending in the poncho in her elevator shoes? Rotations cowboy, such as your friends will never be welcome here. In the custard home, right? Which is a weird chorus. That's a long chorus. That's very weird, right? I'd love to hear some of your solo stuff. You really nailed that yacht rock. You want? I can play something. While we're all here, we're all doing some San Francisco show and tell. San Francisco show and tell. I played 2 shows back in June of last year and one in October. and I have this tune. Yeah, I have this tune. It's not really Steely Danny. You be the judge, I suppose, if you'll be willing to hear me out here. But it is. I think it's like very yacht rocky. I play it as part of my live sets whenever I play shows. Um, and it's I like it a lot. Although I'm hoping that me loading up this new session doesn't cut my mic. We'll see. We'll see. And hello. Okay. Yes, we're back. And speaking of, no, well, we're back, but the song is called "It's So Over." So. Yep. Hmm. I guess you can't hear it. Let's try this again. I'm just sitting here like, yes, I'm listening to it by myself.
Get behind the wheel and drive away from this feeling, 'cause that's the only way I'd feel alive, with a heart still bleeding. Nights like these I'm cruising, doing 90 on 9 to 5, 'cause I don't care, no idea where, going on if I survive.
And so on and so forth. There's like that's pretty much the gist of the song. There's like a bridge and stuff, but it's, there's is not so much of a Steely Dan influence as it is more like there are other contemporaries like Bill LaBounty is probably the biggest influence if you're not familiar with him. And I don't think he ever saw like huge chart success when his yacht rock music was contemporary. But I think he's still his songs hold up really nicely today. He has a song called "Living It Up" that I love, and I play that live as well. But like this is really informed by a lot of his sort of songwriting, and it's not so much the Steely Dan thing as much as it is like more straightforward like yacht rock stuff. I have another tune, but that one's like not. I don't have that one recorded. That is like a little bit more directly Steely Dan influences. I'm working on a record. I'm gonna put it out. I legitimately am. I've been holding out on putting that out too long because that's not out. That song doesn't exist. Those keys would have gone platinum in 1974 though. You're totally right. That's me, and this is this literally of the era. It is a little bit like somebody's baby ish, but like it's a different instrumentation. And it's enough of a different instrumentation, I think. Geez, I'm not tired tonight. That one, Jackson Brown. I remember the. Oh yes, she's probably home done. He's on that. Gonna shine tonight. It's the same kind of like thing, but it's a different song. It's okay to kind of sound like it, right? But yeah, that'll be some of the things to expect moving forward. Is more Minecraft Steely Dan. I think that's definitely gonna be. You'll see more of that for sure. more of the Jersey songs. The Jersey song is like my main series right now that I'm like actually doing, trying to be a little bit more timely with. It was like literally a 4-month interval between the last one and this one, but it'll change. And then, you know, the what I call it? The what would you call it? The original stuff, yeah. I don't know why I couldn't find it. But hold on. There's other stuff also that I do want to do, which is a little bit more related to like the stuff that I used to do. Because somebody came in here and mentioned that I did the yacht rock covers and stuff. Like some of you may have seen that like I did like a yacht rock version of Roddy Ricch's "Rich Forever." The I just lost my dog, and my brother told me how to chase the bank, and all that, right? He has another song called "Ballin'." I put the new 4Gs on the Jeep. I trap until the bloody bottoms is underneath, right? Like I definitely want to do. I have a recorded. It's just not done yet. So that's probably what like you'll on the horizon you'll see, or maybe not. Maybe I will just like sit like put my fingers under my ass and just like say no, I'm not gonna do anything like I usually tend to do for like months on end, and something will push me to like fine. I guess I will put out some music, whatever. My fellow musicians here will be able to empathize with that. Like, yeah, fine, whatever. I'm just not gonna. I made something. Oh yeah, there's that old like there's like a recent like trend of like people with the same joke, right? Where you're in a studio and you're with a producer and you're like, yeah, you listen to the track, you're like, yeah, this is awesome, and then you're just like bobbing your head to, you're like, yeah, this is perfect. I think we're done. And then the other guy, one of the producers, like, so when are you gonna put this out? And the artist says, well, I'm thinking maybe never. I probably will never put this out. I think that tends to be how I kind of make things, as we have seen in this stream. And if for many of you, if you would like to see the other parts, you'll wait till I guess till the stream is over, or maybe I don't know if you can rewind on this live, but like when we were playing some of the other stuff that like is unreleased, like the Rude Buster cover, and then the Reelin' and the Years cover, and all that other stuff, like that was supposed to see the light of the day. It just never did. And 2 or so years removed from that, it's still like languishing here and not being heard by people. Like, all right, I guess this is how we're doing it. I don't know. I gotta get better, a little bit better at that. But anyways, yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is to say about this Time Out of Mind cover. I talked about the piano part. Talked about all the synths. I will post that Rude Buster cover. I have like I just gotta, you know what it is? I just gotta like record me playing it, right? I think I will probably do that sooner than later, because I was gonna have it coincide with like, for a time I was streaming Deltarune, and I was gonna wait until like that was done or whatever. But no, I know what I was gonna do. I was gonna release like a 4-song EP of like rude like Deltarune covers, and I was gonna cover there was another song from chapter 2 that I really liked that I was covering. Yeah, I'm just gonna post the Rude Buster cover. I'm not even gonna go forth with like doing an EP, because like that is just holding me back. And I'll just like, it's just a matter of just doing it, because the thing when you tell yourself, okay, I made this thing, or you at least set goals for yourself, and you say, okay, I'll do this thing when X and Y is finally completed, whatever. But that just kind of holds you back from like actually like doing the thing. So yeah, I think I'll post it. I'll post it probably sometime this or next week. Because I think that people would appreciate it. I feel like it sounds really good. I still have the video. There's a solo in there on the track that I play. That's improvised, completely improvised, and I filmed myself like playing that improvised solo. You ever think so? You just end up doing nothing. That's true. That's true. And I do. I do. Which is like, it's insanely problematic because like part of the yeah, exactly. It's the same with working out. 100%. 100% it's the same as like working out. Which I'm in that lull right now, just like not working out. Because you kind of like get on the horse, and then like you're like, yeah, I'm going to the gym like every single week, and then like something changes in the week and your weekly schedule, and then all of a sudden like you haven't been to the gym in like 3 months, which is where I'm at. But we got to change that. We gotta do something. We gotta act. I've gotta do it. Yeah, and that's what's the same with the record. Like I had a bunch of songs. I was like, I have to film a video for it. I just got to do them, which I can do now. I'll do them now. So, yeah. I'm looking at my face cam. Go Birds, everybody. Well, it's not the Eagle season. It's go Sixers right now, but I don't follow basketball, and it's go Flyers right now too. And I'm starting to follow hockey, but like we're gonna lose against the Hurricanes for sure. That's how you know I'm an NL fan, bro. I really started like watching hockey. I don't care about hockey, and then I started watching hockey. Nah, it's because the Flyers are doing really well, and I was like, yeah, fine, I'll start watching it. And like Philadelphia sports teams are my thing. Yeah, I definitely streamed for longer than I thought I would, but no one else has any. If no one else has any questions, I have no more answers. Yeah. Thank you for watching the stream. But if you're watching this as a VOD later on, if you have any questions about anything that I'm doing, anything to do with this song, leave them down in the comments. I would love to answer them. Or leave them in the comments of the main video if you really want to. But if you're watching this video, you're not on the main video. So that's whatever, Just ask me questions. You do have a question. Oh, yes. This will be the last question. Yes. I love answering questions. I love yapping. I love talking, which is why I thought I could stream back in the fall. I can't do that. Streaming is actually a hard job. Streaming is like legitimately one of the most difficult jobs. I get it. I understand. I used to clown on it. How long did the video part of Time Out of Mind take you? Now that's an interesting question because no one's asked that. All in all, maybe 2 hours over the course of like 2 or 3 days, just whenever I could squeeze it in. I made the video initially I started using Replay Mod. And if you know anything about Replay Mod, it's a little obtuse in the way that you use it, so it kind of got tired. And then I switched over to the Flashback Mod. And that like presented itself like, because I switched over, like I had to kind of learn it a little bit. But literally the hardest part of making the video was like actually filming it on my server or whatever the worlds were. Finding locations in Minecraft worlds that sort of suited the thing, having to find the stronghold, which the world that I loaded up, the part where like I have a spear and I'm on the mountain with all the goats is the same world as where the world that I fought the Ender Dragon on. Yeah, that was just like literally just finding where the stronghold was, finding where all the things on the end were. All the natural gameplay stuff. But thank you. Yeah, I think it came out well too. And I'll praise the cinematography on that video, which is like I was very appreciative of, but at the same time I was like, I did not really spend that much time on it. Because if you know anything about how flashback works, you kind of just like place a point on the camera in the world, place another point, place another point. Hilarious how playing Minecraft was a part of the process. Legitimately, it was. And like I admitted this, I think maybe I admitted this on the Discord and whenever we were talking about it in Misk, but the part where I kill the Ender Dragon was I wasn't creative. I was in creative mode on that one for when I actually was killing the dragon. on the times where you saw the dragon aggro me, that's when I was in survival. And then at a certain point, I was just like, I just want to get the shot of the ender dragon dying, so I changed the creative on that one and just kind of, you know, killed it. I know that the illusion is now shattered, but you know, I was not trying to actually like play Minecraft. I was trying to get footage for a video. That's like all I really cared about. I even made a Minecraft skin that looked like me. Let me tell you, that was also that's a part that I completely forgot about. I made a Minecraft skin to look like me because the Minecraft skin that I normally play with is not what I look like. It's obviously it's an anime girl, but I had to make a skin because I'm not gonna make a video where like I'm singing Steely Dan and look like an alt emo anime girl. Like, come on, you know, what do you take me for? So I made a skin that like I modeled the skin after like a photo that I did where it's like a professional photo, like literally a photo that I had as part of like this other band that I was doing. Yeah, I'm in a metal band, so the picture, so what outfit I'm wearing, the clothes and the colors, the skin of that is literally like I color picked the color of my skin on that off the video. I did like color picking or whatever, you know. So that took a lot of time actually. That did take a lot of time because I had to make the skin on Skindex, because it's just easier to make a skin that way. And then like I did that, like, you know, downloaded it, uploaded it to my Minecraft profile, set everything up. I had to take my cape off because I have an Optifine cape. To take that didn't really take that much time, but like there's a lot of stuff that went into like the staging of it, you know. I've been sitting here playing modern Minecraft the entire time. That's we love that. We love that. Do I remember the first librarian video I saw? No, I don't. It would have been, well, first of all, it's crazy that you clocked me as like a guy who found NL through a librarian, because that's true. That is true that I started watching NL because of librarian. So like I owe everything to Wata, legitimately. Like he gave me the source file for I posted a clip on my Instagram of like NL reacting to it, and I made like a thing on it. And he gave me the source file. I'm gonna make a reaction. I'm gonna make a clip, a vertical clip of him reacting to the old parodies and stuff. I'm very thankful to Wata for like helping me out. Thank you. You Watanabe. You Watanabe. We love you. But like the first NL clip I ever saw, I don't remember, but I know when it was. It was in 2023, because I was still living in Boston at the time. Yeah, I lived in Boston from like 2022 to 2023, but I know technically I lived in Boston from like 2021 to 2023. I lived there for like yeah, 2 to 3 years almost, right? Yeah, because I remember like watching a librarian cut like a bits and banter on the bus somewhere. I just have a memory of that. I don't even remember what it was, but there was a point where I was like binging the Cine 2 Nerdles on his actual channel, and then I was binging like the cuts of like the streams from like a year prior, right? So I just that it was like during that time, 2023ish, 2023, 2020, maybe 2024. Nah, it's 2023. 2023 is for sure. Thoughts on ELO? I have respect for him, Jeff Lynne. It's kind of like not my thing, you know. I'd have to like really give him more of a proper fair shake. I like Evil Woman. That's a good track. But I need to sit with it more, sure. We love you, librarian. We love you. I can't do it, but you know it's funny. Like I'm not a funny person at all, and I'm not original at all. But when I'm with my friends, like I pull out the Trump voice and I do but I don't say Chiblee, and I just do the cadence, and it kills. It legitimately kills. Everyone tells me like, dude, you're really good at that. I'm like, really? I'm not that great at it. We have the best librarians. We have the best. Steely Dan, we love you, Steely Dan. Am I reeling in the years? I guess I'm reeling in the years. And those were some good years, weren't they? I don't know. It kind of fell apart at the end there because I don't have the anchor. I don't want to say Chiblee because I don't know Chiblee. I don't know Chiblee. I can say I know Ryan though because I did convince him in the Discord like because okay here I guess we're talking about it. I was being nice about it to Ryan in the Discord, but he was pissing me off like low key when at the end there was like one I forget which stream it was at the end of this. Oh, it was when he did the bandle and it was Rosanna. It was pissing me off at the end. It was like literally he did the bandle at the end of like the stream and it was Rosanna and I obviously I'm insanely yacht rock pilled. So as soon as I hear the drums, it's like, dude, that's Rosanna. Like there's no other song that sounds like that. Like at all, right? I have some delay on here. There's no other song that sounds like Rosanna. When that came on, that should have sold it. He just didn't know. And then it goes like, whatever that part. Meet you all the way. And then you hear the meet you all the way. That part, like you hear that, that's like, dude, that's Rosanna. He just doesn't know it, which tells me like, okay, clearly Rosanna was not a hit. I didn't know that. I thought Rosanna was a hit. I thought people knew Rosanna. People don't know Rosanna. So I was like, okay. And then he just starts talking shit about the Toto at the end, and I'm like, listen, okay, I get it. And this is why I hate dirty work. I'll tell you this much. This is why I don't like dirty work. Because if there's like a huge song that is like a part of your catalog and everybody knows it, and then that's the only thing that people will have to make a value judgment on. So if all you know about Toto is Africa, of course you're gonna hate him. And listen, I'll tell you this much: I love Toto. I go to bat for the Porcaros. I go to bat for Steve Lukather. I go to bat for Bobby Kimball. I go to bat for David Page. I go to bat for David Hungate. I go to bat for Simon Phillips. I go to bat for Joseph Williams, who is the guy that they say is, dude. And it pissed me off too that somebody like even mentioned that like Joseph Williams is the son of John Williams. And it's like, Joseph Williams is the current singer and he only sings on Pamela. Bobby Kimball was the lead singer. Joseph Williams had nothing to do with Toto up until 1986 or whatever. Right. But anyway, like, I get it. I say this. I say all that. I go to bat for everybody. I hate Africa. Not the continent, the song. I really, really, really don't like the song Africa. Whenever I listen to Toto 4, I play it all the way through, except when I hear the I turn it off and I move on to another album because I just don't want to hear that song ever again. And I could live the rest of my life just, yeah, exactly. Don't clip that. Don't clip that out of context. I could live the rest of my life never ever hearing Toto by Africa ever again. But unfortunately, I live in a society. So I have to hear Africa. It's fine, right? I'll play it. I'm in a wedding band, and so this is on our set. Right? Like, I'll play it. I'll play it just fine. I don't care. But I'll be singing it really, really I'll be singing, it's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. I'm gonna sing that really reluctantly. And, you know, it's fine. Whatever. But that's what I'm saying. Like, what I'm saying all of this. I'm like losing my train of thought like as we speak, and it's getting me heated. But I say this all to say, like, I get it. But come on, you got to listen to Toto. Check him out. So I told him in the Discord, I was like, hey, I didn't intro it by saying like you're pissing me off, because I kind of told him like, hey, just so you know, Toto's kind of goated. They played basically like David Page, Jeff Porcaro, and who else? I think Hungate played on a couple tracks, if not Mike Porcaro. But some of those guys played on Katie Lied. on the majority of Katie Lied, specifically Page and Jeff Porcaro. Jeff Porcaro is the drummer of Toto. David Page is the pianist and occasional singer of Toto. He sings the part where he goes, "I hear the drums echoing tonight." That's David Page. As he goes, that's David Page singing that, and he plays the electric piano at the start of I think it's the electric piano he plays at the start of Black Friday. That's him. That's, you know, so I mean, like, Katie Lied, man. And David Page David Page is like just great. He doesn't play with Steely Dan ever again after that. But Jeff Porcaro does. Jeff Porcaro plays on what does he play? He plays on something on he plays on Gaucho. And he played a lot. He played all over like Pretzel Logic too, because he was their live drummer for a while before they stopped playing touring. So all that being said, I told him, like, Toto, don't sleep on Toto, man. Yes, Africa does suck. You're right about that, but they got other tunes too. Like I was listening to Toto, the first record, Toto 1. It's not called Toto 1, but it's like Toto 1978. So good. Like there's a track on. Oh yeah, the right. It's Georgie Porgy. Oh, it's so good. I'll go to bat for Toto. And he was pissing me off when he said, like, Toto sucks. I was like, I get where you're saying it, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, man. Africa sucks, not Toto. They played on Thriller, man. And I know everybody says that when they talks about Toto, but they played on Thriller. They were the backing band on Thriller. Steve Porcaro, the guy who plays synth for the band, he wrote Human Nature. Come on. Human Nature is a Toto song, and that's why it's my favorite Michael Jackson song. You know, I could go on. Ghibli. Steely Dan is the greatest band of all time, Ghibli. I feel wrong saying that because that's not my bit. I don't know Ghibli, and he has no reason to know who I am. Because especially at the end of the clip, like he literally transitions over to like, I think he's playing with like Kate, and he says, at the end of when he's done reacting, like he says, "Ghibli, have you seen this?" And he was like, "No, you wouldn't get it." It's like, yeah, he wouldn't get it. Maybe if I did Ninja Jirachi Minecraft parodies, he would get it, but that's not my lane. Maybe if I did Jane Remover, but that's not that's not my thing. Name that song, y'all. Same thing. Anyway, I'm from Argentina, and Toto played here like a year ago. I went to see them with my dad. Only knowing Africa's representing and holding the line, I was blown away by them by the end of the show. Yes, dude, they have so many good songs that are not like the tops at all. Georgie Porgy is so good. You'll Supply the Love. Supply the love, baby. I'll supply the love. So good. It's another one. Off that one. Goodbye Girl. Oh my gosh. Good. If you don't know, or it's called Girl Goodbye. If you want to have your mind blown, listen to the song Girl Goodbye by Toto. It's goodbye girl, and goodbye. Whatever it is. Girl Goodbye by Toto is one of their most underrated songs, and it's so freaking good. There's another one, Taking It Back, on that record. That's another Steve Porcaro one. Same guy who wrote Human Nature and everything. It has this intro. It straight up sounds like a Playboy Cardi track. It's called Taking It Back. You hear the start of it, and you're like, it sounds like a hip hop sample. It's crazy. And it's so good. And if you've seen my KSI Thick of It cover, that's what that song is. That song is based off of Toto's Taking It Back in terms of the groove. Not based on it, but it's very heavily inspired by it. Human Nature is goated. Yeah, absolutely. Human Nature is like, I think it's the best Michael Jackson song. I think the best song off Thriller, IMO. But anyways, that's just me saying like, don't if you watch NL and you are convinced about what he says about Toto sucking, don't listen to him. He just didn't know. So I'm not gonna do my own horn, but he got ghost pinged in MISC like on Discord server, and the one time that he came on into MISC, he chose to respond to my messages about Toto. So all I'm saying is like, come on, Toto is worth checking out. And then like he posted a screenshot of like him like checking the liner notes or the Wikipedia personnel on of Katie Lied. I was like, yes, he's a real one. And he said, I'm a knower. You know what's it's such a great feeling to be told by your goat that you're a knower. It's literally like this. It's this. Like it's crazy. And I'm thankful to every single one of you who's watching. Thank you. If you're watching this right now, if you watched the video, if you commented, if you liked it, and you gave it a view, and you're here right now, I want to say, I couldn't have got here without you. You whoever you are watching this right now, you're a real one. Where I am, which is like I'm just at home, but like this feeling that you have given me, it's all thanks to you, and I thank you. Thank you for making me happy. Thank you for giving me the time of day. Thank you for watching the parody, and liking what I do. I hope you stick around because there's more. There legitimately is more where that came from. And if you're into that vibe, like that's the vibe that I'm bringing. I love the parody. Hit all the right spots auditorially. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm very glad. A lot of people commented on like the mix quality, and I was very proud of it. I'm very thankful that people could appreciate the mix and the arrangements and the production. I mean, the arrangement is just the studio arrangement, but the recreation and all. Because if you've listened to the original song, like there's something special about that track. There's something very cathartic. I remember the first time maybe I was listening to Gaucho. I think I was still living in Boston at this. No, I wasn't the first time listening to Gaucho, but it was like a time I was re-listening to Gaucho. I was in Boston. I was just walking the street. Time Out of Mind comes on. I'm just walking from like up like Massachusetts Avenue, or no, Boylston. I'm just walking up Boylston, and like Time Out of Mind comes on. I'm just like walking down the street like I feel like $1 million, and that song makes you feel like $1 million when you hear it. So I'm hoping that I captured a little bit of that, like that kind of strutting. It's a very strut kind of song, you kind of like to strut down the street when you hear the that's the chord right there. It's these chords. Right. It's been a while. Luckily, we have the use of technology and Logic and digital audio workstations. We don't have to play it exactly right the first time. You can just kind of like combine things and be like, yeah, that was a good enough take. Right. I don't even play piano really. I just can play it, but my main instrument is guitar. Which you might have been able to tell from the way that the record kind of sounds. It's very, the guitar is forward, I'll tell you that much. And the piano's kind of sitting in the background, as I like it, because I'm really not great at I can play just enough. I'll play just what I feel. What is it? On the expand. I want to be learn to work the saxophone. I play just what I feel. Drink Scotch whiskey all night long. Die behind the wheel. They got a name for the winners in the world. I want a name when I lose. All Alabama, the Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blues. Whatever. That one I also want to do. People have suggested Beacon Blues of some kind. You know, that might be fun. I don't want to hold myself to it because it is sort of like someone mentioned it before. It is sort of like a Sufjan Stevens, like doing all 50 states kind of thing, to even suggest that I will do all of Asia and Gaucho. That would be a serious undertaking, but I will do it. I would do it. That's not a promise, but it'll be something from there for sure. That I'll do another Minecraft parody of something from there. Probably not from like the first two records. I don't think so. Although, like, I will say, even though it is Early Dan, I do really like. It's one of my favorite songs that they've ever done. Is that one there. My Old School is what it's called. Even though it is like really rocky, like it's just jazzy enough where I'm like, yeah, I like that one. They're gonna be up and down. Yeah, Peg. I think that one might just be Pig. It just fits, right? Pig. It will come back to you. Something like that. Maybe like you lose. Maybe the premise of the song is like you have your only pig on your farm, and a creeper blew up the gate. Now, like, the pig is gone. You're like, pig! Or I'm saying that the pig will come back to you. Pig, it will come back to you. Pig, it will come back to you. Then, what's that? Then, son of fools, you see it on 3D. It's your favorite foreign movie. Something like that. I forgot how to actually play it. I don't even know if that's the chord. Right. It's your favorite carrot for you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. That's cool. I like that. Let's see if it's your favorite carrot for you. That's pretty clever. Steely Dan is so good. Steely Dan. That's why I wanted to do a Minecraft parody too. It's like none of their music ever gets old. You just listen to it, and you're like, you always find something new. It's so special. There's not I can't think of anyone else like that, at least for me. Maybe Yes. I do love Yes. I know that like Ryan also like does he Close to the Edge posts, which is like fine because that is a really good album. Like, I see a witch in you. The Close to the Edge Minecraft parody would be kind of like crazy. And I have thought about doing like a Close to the Edge cover in which I do it like a Toto style. I thought about doing it, and I was working on like a lead sheet for that, but like that was another one of my projects that like just doesn't happen. You know, But I know that like Brian is also like pretty yes pilled, so you might see some yes covers like a cover of Close to the Edge, like all 20 minutes of Close to the Edge. I do really love that song. Get up, get down. I love NL, but I'm pretty sure his opinions on music are largely informed by what he thinks will make him look like he knows music. I can see that. What I understand is that he's more like a child of Pitchfork, and so he is like, that's why he likes Guided by Voices. That's why he's like an indie head. He's huge into the indie stuff because of like he's Pitchfork build. And then I think that like, you know, he's like Pitchfork pilled, but also like a little rate your music pilled in the sense that like, you know, he likes a lot of like what's top on there, but he's not on Rate Your Music or anything in the way that he's on Letterboxd. But like, and then like he listens to like the sort of the, I don't know why he even listened to Close to the Edge or Asia for that matter, but you know, I'd give him some credit in that he has a baseline level taste, and then he sort of like ventured outside of that when it comes to like the Steely Dan. You know, John Anderson is not an easy cover. That's true. But I also really love like his tone so much that, you know, Yes is like up there in my favorite bands for sure. No way NL would sit through the whole 20 minutes though. That's what I'm saying. And like, not that I would ever expect him to like literally sit through my whole cover and watch all of it, but that might be funny just to do. You know, really funny seeing people who are obviously Pitchfork or Fantano heads. Yeah, I grew up with them. That's fine. Like I know some friends who are obviously like, if you look at the fact that they even make a topster shows me that they're either like migrants from /mu, which is like, you know, 4chan, but also like maybe they're also on indie heads on Reddit. But like, yeah, all their top are like Fantano and Pitchfork stuff, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I think that there is a time and place. I think I'm gonna go against the grain for a lot of people, and this is why I like NL a lot in his takes. Is that I think music criticism is important because it is important to have like a baseline level at least. If you know nothing about it and you have no way to get into it, I would rather trust like a critic than to try to form my own opinion because I don't know anything. If I know nothing about music, I don't know anything. I'd rather defer to somebody who knows at least a little bit about like how music goes. There's obviously just a slant to that, and which is what I will say. When it comes to like Pitchfork and like the Fantano heads, that there is a level of punk orthodoxy which I don't like. That is to say, like anything that is like independent and lo-fi as an aesthetic automatically gets like extra brownie points, which I don't like. Because I don't think that there was any merit to give in that way. So why are you giving them extra bonus points just because they're DIY? And the argument can be made that like it's sort of like a anti-establishment sort of thing. But I would evaluate the music on its own merit as well. Which is why like I always defend Steely Dan. A lot of people hate Steely Dan for the fact that they were like in their heyday. They were being pushed heavily by their record label, first ABC Records and then MCA, and they were pushed like as like pop, you know, they were pop music. They obviously knew that their music was genius at the time. If you look at the liner notes of like Asia, the record label themselves, they knew that they had something. They had, even at the time, they knew that this was like very sophisticated music, but it was backed by labels. It was not. It was by no means was it independent. By no means was it low budget. It was very high budget, and you could very obviously tell. But I don't think that should, you know, detract from anything. I think that that's fine. You know, just like we can evaluate modern popular music today with like an unbiased, relatively kind of approach and just say, hey, we're not even considering the budget that went into the making this. We're just evaluating the music on its own. I wish that people would do that more with Steely Dan instead of just like throwing the baby out with the bathwater and saying, hey, Steely Dan is like they have lots of money and like it's very sophisticated and it's high class and it's like only listened to by rich white guys on yachts or whatever. And it's like, you missed the point and you didn't hear any of this music. Like, I get it. Maybe it's not your thing, but to pretend that like punk and DIY and all of this like do this sort of like grassroots ethos somehow makes you better, I disagree. I don't think that like there's no merit to that. I don't think. It's not, it neither detracts from nor adds to the experience in my opinion. I don't think it should. I think it should have nothing to do with it. It's cool maybe if they're like especially like an independent thing, but yeah, a lot of like that era, a lot of especially like indie sleaze and blog era and like 2000s up until like all the Pitchfork stuff, like there's too much emphasis on like it's good because it's DIY, it's good because it's homemade or whatever, which is like, and that pisses me off because it tends to be on the other side of that. Steely Dan sort of gets the negative treatment of it and yeah, which, yeah, whatever. You saw like 8 times before Squire died. Oh, I wish I could have seen them while Squire was still alive. You can blues Sulfur Caves. Sulfur Caves. That's cool. The funniest example of the fetishization of DIY is raw black metal can't hear shit but distortion. That's true. That's true. I really don't like a lot of black metal because of that. Finally, okay, don't look too deeply into what I'm about to say. I don't even know if I should say this. That there is like one black metal record I do like, and it's Philosophem by Burzum. I don't condone anything that he's ever said, and I don't condone anything that he's ever done. He shouldn't have done all that. He shouldn't have killed whatever his name is, Euronymous. He shouldn't have joined the organizations that he said he joined. He shouldn't have done any of that. But I do like a little bit of what's on Philosophem. I'll say that much. It's kind of cool. Not him. He's not a cool dude. Varg is not a cool dude. But, you know. It still does sound like the tone does sound like shit though. You're not wrong. Like, I hate that because it's deliberately like they didn't put a cab on it because it sounds fine. Or it sounds like that way. And I'm like, all right, this is like anti everything I stand for. Because I'm a producer. Like, I hear things in a producer way. And I just, that's not what I like, man. I don't like any of that black metal stuff. But yeah, fetishization of DIY is a really good way to put it. Like, it sort of has become, I think that part of Pitchfork taste, maybe not anymore, like Condé Nast era, not anymore, but like part of that like sort of stream of like indie heads is very much like fetishization of DIY, fetishization of like things that sound raw, which to me is a little disingenuous, and that's just not my, but that's also like against my ethos of like creating music. Like, if I'm gonna make something, I want to make it sound good. I'm not gonna purposely make something sound bad, with the intent that like it gives it like a sense of like realness, and it's just disingenuous. It's just that's not true to who I am. What is true to me is like I like things that sound clear, and I like things that sound very bright, and things that sound very full-bodied without being too abrasive. And you know, I don't know. It's the whole thing. But where was I going with this? Yeah, I was gonna end the stream 30 minutes, but I love talking. I love yapping. This is really why I thought I could stream. It is a hard job, and I'm not gonna do this for a while, probably. I just have this like, you see, I'm looking at my camera now. I have this session up here. It's just sitting there as the background doing nothing. Yeah. Thank y'all for your support. It really means a lot to me. Thank y'all for supporting what I do. I hope you keep supporting what I do, because everything that I do is like this. You know, at least it's the yacht rock thing. That's just what I do. Maybe it won't be a Minecraft parody the next thing you see, Might be one of my Jersey songs. Might be something else. Maybe an original song. But it's definitely like if you like this sound, if you like the Steely Dan thing, I mean, that's just when I'm 3 4. That might be the next time I stream is when we do another session breakdown. I like doing this. I like doing some session breakdowns and sort of like this is sort of like almost like a post game interview of the Steely Dan. Kind of just seeing what's up with everything and asking questions or what were you thinking in this? But yeah, this is what you're seeing before you. This is all that was, all that is, all that will ever be. But it's all about like I guess more. It's greater than the sum of its parts, I suppose. Yeah. I hope that the video keeps doing well. It's literally the best performing video that I've ever done. Probably ever. I've done videos before. Like I've done like, but they've also been like YouTuber reaction videos where like I react to a song or whatever as a producer. I look fat in this videos. Like I look insanely like weird. I look weird in those videos. Anyway, that's a side note. I gotta get on the Peloton. Nah, I don't have a Peloton. I do. My dad is a cyclist though. He does have like a trainer, and he uses the other one that is not Peloton. He uses Swift. He uses Zwift. I will keep on keeping on. I will do more Asia and Gaucho Minecraft parodies for sure. Do I plan on doing a parody of "Tell Me a Lie" by Steely? What is this? Oh, this is a pre-Dan song, is it? Oh no. It's a this is lore I don't know about. This is if I'm reading this, it's an unrelated country track propagated as a Becker Fagan tune online by idiots, released 1974 5, not written by Donald Fagan and Walter Becker. That's what the description says. By the Skeevy Daniel upload. That's what it says. Huh. I'll have to look into this more. I've never heard of this. Interesting. I'll check it out. I didn't know about this at all. Because it's not listed on like one of the sites that like you can see like a bunch of Steely Dan cuts that are like not recorded. This is funny. You probably know about this, but there's a website called SteelyDan.nl, which is kind of funny. But it's like a fan site, right? When they have like a list of like all the Steely Dan songs, all the songs that Fagan and Becker wrote individually and together, some of which was not recorded. Dude, that reminds me. I'm trying to gauge interest. I want to record an album where I just do like a bunch of those tracks that are not on an album and were written by them but like did not make it to an album. I was gonna record an album called Earth Keenan's The Lost Gaucho. That was gonna be something I was gonna do. I still might do that for sure because I want to cover this. I want an excuse to cover the second arrangement because dude, I love the second arrangement so much. Second arrangement is so good, and it's a shame that I never make it to the record. But I get where I am. I don't know if it would belong. I don't think it would be a good closer, to be honest. Coolie Baba is also really good. Like I'm surprised that didn't make it. My nom du voyage is McSween. I carry the proper papers. That one is so good. Stone Piano. Let me see that one. Oh. Oh yeah. I've definitely heard this before. It's one of the really early ones, like the pre Can't Buy a Thrill demos, right? Won't load though. Whatever, fine. I'll listen to another band. But there's like I was gonna do Coolie Baba, Talking About My Home is the other one. The Gaucho version of Talking About My Home, or at least like the version that was gonna be on Gaucho. Talking about my home. The Mega Shine City. About my home, the only blue that I've ever known. Something like that. What? Um, yeah, Kenny Vance was very intertwined with the early days of Fagan and Becker for sure. Like I feel like if you're into old Fagan and Becker, like especially the earlier albums, like that's is all that stuff is like full of that. The Linda Ronstadt stuff was also like there. I think, or who sang Mean to Shine? Who sang that one? Is that Barbara Streisand? That stuff too. That's like really good stuff. The Bear, man. The Bear got you. Like, I've got my number and yet you're gain. 15 miles and I'm feeling great. There's a bear that walks like a man. That one would have been killing on Gaucho for sure. Kind Spirit too. Kind Spirit. I wrote lyrics for the part that like that was just like nah 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 on Kind Spirit. I was gonna do a version of This All Too Mobile Home that kind of like sounds like Gaucho-y. Canadian Star. If you know about Canadian Star, there are lyrics for it, but there's like a famous version of it that's instrumental, but there's a version that like a Japanese singer sang. You then the lyrics of that song are just not anywhere online. But I bought that record on vinyl just so that I could find see what the lyrics inside are. So I have the lyrics for Canadian Star. I don't know if like these are the Fagan and Becker lyrics because there's another songwriter credited on it who might have written these lyrics. Same old crazy weather, same old stars in the same old Canada sky tonight. Tried to write a letter, but I can't get it right. So I don't know, but I bought it because I wanted to know what those lyrics that she was singing were. I was like, because she's Japanese, so it's a little difficult to understand. And then I was gonna do a second arrangement, and I was gonna do a cover of Big Noise New York. Because that one is to me, it's a very Steely Dan kind of song, Big Noise New York. So yeah, I was gonna do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 9 songs of like gotcha outtakes and Fagan rarities. I might still do that. We'll see. We'll see if I have the space for that, but it's definitely something I want to do. Edgy Vidgy General, you loved the video, bro. Thank you. The song Dirty Water. Who's the original of that one? There's a cover of that one in a Boston concert. You love the video. Thank you. I really do appreciate everybody's support. It's been really encouraging, I would say, because it gets to a point where you're like sometimes you feel like you're losing steam, and that felt really good. That out and into the world. See, everybody liked it. Everybody, there's actually a market for it. I have also unreleased, not released. They are released, but they're on really obscure channels. But I have a parody of Buddy Holly from Weezer, but also Across the Sea by Weezer. That one is one I'm really proud of, but obviously people have certain feelings about Across the Sea. I view Across the Sea as a Steely Dan type of thing where it's being sung through a depraved character on purpose. A gentleman loser, if you will, of the 90s, that kind of thing, right? But anyways, I have a God's Plan by Drake, Minecraft parody. Like I ain't new to this, bro. Like I've been this. I've been in this. You know. I've been doing this. Um. So we'll see. Those might see the light of day. I don't know. I was gonna do a Minecraft parody of "For the Longest Time" by Billy Joel. I had it. I have the lyrics written somewhere. It was called "In the Darkest Mine," is what it was. Whoa, in the darkest, in the in the darkest mine. Whoa, in the darkest mine. Right, and all that, right? Um, yeah. At this point, I'm just like talking. I'm legitimately just like saying whatever. It do not matter. Um, yeah. I think once again, I keep saying this over and over again, but like, thank y'all. Thank y'all. Their support really means a lot to me. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, stay tuned. We got more coming, more Minecraft parodies coming, more content coming, more videos. When it comes to the uh update on the tier list, yes, I will be writing reviews. Speaking of Pitchfork and speaking of Fantano, I'll be writing reviews and making video essay type content. Not exactly a video essay, but it'll just be reading an essay that I wrote. Yeah. Peace out, y'all. Have I heard? But real quick, have I heard of Steakhouse? Yes, I have heard of Steakhouse. I like their one song that kind of sounds like "Home at Last." I forget what it's called. They were originally a tribute band. Yes, I've heard a couple tunes from Steakhouse. They're actually on my yacht rock playlist. So as I go, I will leave you with a couple things. I have, if you are Spotify inclined, I have a playlist called Modern Yacht Rock that is literally just modern yacht rock. But I also have a general master playlist of yacht rock that I think would be cool to share. So I'll drop it right now in the chat, as if I can log into my Spotify account. 1 second. It's them. They're on that. There's another band called Fanfiction also that I really like. That does the modern yacht rock thing. What the? Are you serious? I really don't. No, I will leave this with you guys for sure. I'll get the link. But anyway, yeah, Steakhouse is great. Steakhouse. So there's 3 guys that I can think of, like modern guys. There's them. There's Young Gun Silver Fox, and there's Fanfiction. Fanfiction is more of like a band camp, like if you know you know kind of thing. They're absolutely not like well known or famous or anything, but they have a song called Mr. Minute that's so good. Mr. Minute, Mr. Minute, am I down and me wrong? It's just like such a great doobie bounce groove, you know. I'm sharing this to my. I'm airdropping a link from my phone to my computer. Will it work? No, it won't. Are you serious? What's happening here? I can't even end the stream properly. All right, whatever. Oh, here you go. It's just something to send y'all off with without me being like, peace out, y'all. I'll you know what I'm doing right now? It's literally two-factor authentication, which is good. I know it's a good thing, but it's all right. Here, finally, parting gift. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. But can I really not paste in this freaking thing? There you go. There's my yacht rock playlist, and then here's like my modern yacht rock playlist. Modern day yacht rock. You know what? Oh yeah, I'll send it to you. My apologies. It's because I have to change this picture because this picture something not good. All right. Here. Now you can have my modern day yacht rock playlist. And there you go. You running the ES cover is crazy good. Thank you. I will put it out soon. Don't worry about it. I will see. I'll catch you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And